The following is a presentation of iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Charlotte Motor Speedway. Coming up next on iRacing Live, the second segment for the 2016 ASCORS ProGeek Consulted Cup Series gets underway from the Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. The Charlotte 300 is next on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Did you know the lion's sense of vision is so powerful, it actually enables nearby creatures to see better? Here we see lions assisting the offspring of others, while their parents are elsewhere in the wild. Brilliant, isn't it? Making the wild kingdom look much better indeed. Do good, be a lion.
Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome tonight live under lights from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. LSRTV happy to be along with you for the season opener, the second segment on the 2016 ASCORS ProGeek Consulted Cup Series gets underway tonight with the longest intermediate racetrack event on the season. 200 laps, 300 miles get set to go, and we have a completely rejuvenated field of drivers for the next 14 races, and we're happy that you're kicking it off right here with us. Evan Pasoko, topside with you at the LSRTV Broadcast Tower, joined by Kelly Dahl, and as always, LSRTV's producer Cisco Scaramouza down in the production trailer, pushing the buttons and getting us to you this evening. The Charlotte Motor Speedway, a track that every single iRacer, Kelly, that likes to oval race has been on it, because it's one of the tracks that comes with the basic iRacing membership. It doesn't mean that these guys kind of discard it for some of the other tracks. If you think of intermediate racetrack racing and you think of a 1.5 miler, Charlotte is basically the Staplestone NASCAR track. Fast under the lights, there's going to be high speeds, there's going to be high intensity action, and most importantly, as we mentioned, this has to be, I think, the most stacked field of talent, top to bottom, that we've ever seen on an LSRTV broadcast, and all 30-plus drivers here tonight on track looking to get a win to buy themselves into the championship that sits now just 15 races away as we begin our second segment on the year.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, this is one of the biggest or most well-known intermediate tracks. It comes with the base subscription of iRacing, and nearly every oval driver gets their start on this track with the street stocks. However, these are not the street stocks, these are the cup cars. They'll be pushing almost 200 miles an hour as they reach these corners. Side by side, under the lights, with lots of grip. We're going to definitely see an intense race here tonight.
The qualifying session of 10-minute single car runs has drawn to a close, and we're just about set to drop the hammer on the Charlotte 300. So with that, we'll toss things down trackside and take a look at tonight's LSRTV starting grid. Pole position tonight to the driver of the number 6. No time to practice session, but for Santiago Tires, a 27.663. Going to put him on the top spot and on the front row for the number 1 position to start tonight. And to the outside of the front row, P2, a very good starting position for the number 74 of Taylor Hurst. DJ O'Rourke going to roll tonight from P3. The number 41 on track tonight, going to be joined alongside by the 21. That's John Gorlinski, who rolls from P4, rounding out your top 5 qualifiers that were behind of Austin Jones.
In row 3, you've got a pair of deuces here with the 0-2 of Ryan Michaeluza and the 2-car of Ray Alfalla, starting in P7. P8 sees the 86 of Joseph Gulota, and P9 has the 51 of Justin Fuller. The number 1 car of Trey Eidson rounds out your top 10.
Just behind in the number 11 spot, going to be the 82 of Alex Warren. Mark Jorgensen Jr. season debut to the outside, going to start in 12th. 13th position tonight, another ASCORS rookie, the number 48 Cobalt Chevrolet, Josh Paul. He's also going to be serving as tonight's LSRTV in race reporter. We'll talk with him a couple of times as the night goes on. Joined by another familiar name here, Adam Benefield, the 83 to the outside, row number 7 to P14, and rounding out your top 15, the number 13 Logan Kress.
And outside of him has season 32 of Seth DeMerchant. In the row behind, the 12 of Alex Bergeron and the 19 of Tyler Dalton. P19 for the 14 of Matthew Moose, and Paul Fugate rounds out your top 20.
Couple more cars to put down at the time of the qualifying session. 21st for Dylan Jones and Justin Weaver. Going to qualify in 22nd. 23rd, Matthew Chafe, Daniel Lee Everhart in P24, and 25th for Chuck Sweeting.
Mitchell Hunt and J.D. Laird round out your qualifiers in 26th and 27th respectively. After that, we go into our provisionals of the 20 of Chad Coleman is 28th, and Landon Harrison will be 29th.
And then to round out the field tonight, 30th, going to go to Bentley Glazer, Adam Gilliland, 31st behind, Matt Busa, 32nd, Doy Woods, Ray Rittenauer with the 2nd, Matthew Quick, 33rd, 34th, and 35th, as well as Josh Parker, Brandon Hastings, John Wilco, and Stephen Herring. The first 12 races on the season now behind us. That championship has already gone to Ray Alfalla, and the drivers who got a win in the opening segment have themselves on the chase grid for later in the year. But for all intended purposes tonight, it's a brand new season. Race 1 of 14 begins here tonight, and you get to battle and do it all over again for a championship with a win in this segment. Also, buying you a spot in the chase later on in 2016. The pace cars down and in, and we're happy to have you with us at LSRTV and iRacing Live. Green flag on the way, and underway for the Charlotte Motor Speedway we go. With a good jump for Santiago Tires at the front of the field. He'll bring the number 6 Ford Fusion down to the inside in turns 1 and 2, and leads the way. EJ O'Rourke going to slot to P2.
Yeah, the inside line definitely had a great jump. The 74 just couldn't quite get it started there. Right behind them, though, the 9 and the 21 are still side by side as the field stacks up behind them. The 6, though, very clean start and is already starting to open up a nice wide gap.
Behind them, that 74 of Taylor Hurst. He'll duck right back to the inside. O'Rourke, who started 3rd, looked like he was going to be able to get P2 comfortably. Not going to be the case. He's way up the racetrack now. 74 going to choose the inside lane, and you can give Taylor Hurst back his spot. Caution and problems behind your leaders in a turn number 1. One car backed up against the fence. It's the UPS Ford of Doy Woods. Replay going to go on your screen now, and we'll take a second look at the contact that happened back in the number 33rd position. A lot of cars got out of shape in front of these guys. And I think Doy Woods, a little bit of hesitancy on what he was going to do with the UPS Ford. Kind of looked to the outside and almost decided to go back down to the bottom as there was a big checkup on the inside of the racetrack with the 18 in front of him. Car gets loose and really nowhere to catch it once he bounces off of the number 81 machine. Spinning on the inside, the G&K Services entry of Brandon Hastings. He does a good job of locking up the tires, hanging on to that race car. But a caution at lap number 2 of 200 here on the evening. Going to bring out the first yellow, evidently on the night. Slow things back down, 1 and 2. Still the 6 and the 74 after an exciting start and an exciting battle on that first lap inside the top 5.
Yeah, and I think the 28 there was just trying to make some evasive maneuvers after the field in front of him checked up, and I think he just got loose and ended up smacking the car below him.
So caution early, we mentioned 198 laps to go when a pace car pulls out onto the racetrack. All 39 drivers on the grid tonight were able to make their way out onto the racetrack for the start of this one. A couple of cars damaged. Matt Quick also looked like he picked up a small bit of damage in that accident. Had nowhere to go behind it. Stuck up on the outside of the racetrack down in turns 1 and 2. So they're obviously going to be headed down pit side for repairs. Pit road is open this last time around, actually. Nobody from up front, though. Going to be coming down pit road with just about 2 laps on the tires. Not going to give them much of an advantage. So it's Tara's in front of the field in the number 6 machine. Her still P2. Austin Jones did a good job on the drop of the green flag, going from P5 to P3. A 2-position pickup for Alfalla, also going from P7 to P5 inside of the top 5.
And way back in the field, actually, Tyler Dalton, starting in 18th, jumped up 4 positions, now running P14. So I have to see if he can keep that momentum rolling as we go back to green.
We get set to go back and away, looking at the lights on top of the base car to see if they go out this time by. Once they do, we'll double them up and get set for the first American Ethanol restart on the evening. Do want to welcome our third member of the LSRTV broadcast team into the booth with us, Andy Kessler. Joining myself, Evan Persoko, and Kelly Dahl topside with you, Andy. A long way to go. Lights off for the pace car. We're going to put 5 laps behind us as we get set to take the green flag. A lot of jitters, much as we saw 13 weeks ago now at Daytona when segment 1 got underway. We crowned the champion just 1 week ago, and it's a whole new championship. And for a lot of these races, going to be doing them without the name Ray Alfalla on the racetrack. So a lot of these guys think this is their opportunity to get the job done.
Well, you're absolutely right, Evan. And whenever you reset the points and you put all these guys in, and then you got a new crop of drivers as well that come into this race for segment 2. So it opens a whole door for a whole bunch of other guys as well to show up, try to challenge that 2 car whenever he does show up to the racetrack like he is here tonight. So we saw what Alfalla did last Tuesday in that Alfalla Tech All-Star race, and he was pretty fast at this racetrack. So I think these guys have something to look forward to, at least trying to hold that 2 back here.
His car going to go down and away, and we're going to give it another go. At turn number 4, there were no problems for the 6. Atira is on the drop of the first green flag. We'll see if he can do it again. They head to the American Ethanol Go Zone. Restart, box it away. Green flag back in the air. And underway once again from Charlotte. Good start for everybody. 2 wide, 5 rows deep to the top 10 to turn 1. Advantage to the inside.
Yeah, that was a great... Oh, trouble behind with the 12, or the 21. It was the 12 Alex Bergeron making some contact there, but it looks like the 19 of Tyler Dalton may have started that one in turns number 1 there on that restart. Big problems, big wreck right there for the 82. It looked like just literally got spun right back up into the racetrack, into that wall. Hard hit, heavy damage for that car.
Yeah, as we say in the racing world, cautions breed cautions. You get all these cars packed up and itching to go, and one slight mistake and you can wreck a whole bunch of cars there. We've got a good amount of cars with a lot of damage back there, and unfortunately some people's nights are going to end early.
Yeah, and with that, we talked about them being side-by-side in turn 1. You might think it's an obvious statement to make with the side-by-side restarts, but a lot of the time, the inside might fan out a little bit. You'll get the top 5 single file by the time you hit the first set of corners. There was no advantage to anybody until your leaders got to the center of 1 and 2. It was a very even restart for the whole field. That's why they were so tight, and you saw it on the LSR TV replay. Just a little bit of contact coming courtesy of the number 19 heavily entry of Tyler Dalton. But I think the bigger issue is he got onto the left rear quarter panel and the quarter pipe Chevrolet in front of him. And at that point, there was really nothing that Alex Warren could have done. And unlike that first accident where the contact came in 33rd position, this one coming inside of the top 15, way too many cars behind that accident for this one to really just remain what it was. And I'd say more cars were involved just trying to avoid actually being caught up in the initial accident than those that were actually in that initial piece of contact.
Yeah, talk about any time during a race where it gets real treacherous and maybe guys a little nervous about what's going on. It's definitely on the restart with everybody packed in like they are. And you typically think at a track like this at Charlotte with all the grip, especially here at nighttime, that, these guys, they all think, all right, I can hold it in there. We can probably go wide open for a lap or so. And they dive it right down in there and get in there. And just one guy has a little bit of a checkup. They get into the back of each other, and that's all that it takes, especially when everybody's all jumbled up like they were here on this restart here. So it is what it is. It's a product of this type of racetrack as well, too, with all the speed. But it's a lot of fun. I think they'll get settled down here, and we got a long way to go here before this thing's over.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was also a bad position for that wreck to start happening, because in the middle of the corner, you don't really have anywhere to go. If you're on the front stretch and the back stretch, you've got all this space on the apron and the grass that you can run to. But on the corner, I mean, yes, you have the apron, but it's such a huge transition from the banking to just flat track that it can cause even more problems than keeping it on the banking. You just kind of go flat out through it.
We'll talk some track facts about the Charlotte Motor Speedway as we get set for the first restart on the night already. Racetrack opened back in 1960 at a construction cost of $1.25 million. It has become a staple market on ASCORS Sprint Cup Series calendar, formerly known as the Lowe's Motor Speedway for about 11 years, but Charlotte Motor Speedway as it's foreknown. 24 degrees of banking in the corners, very much so the highest of the intermediate 1.5 milers that we've been to on the season, and we made note of talking about how many consecutive intermediate tracks we're going to really find here in this center part of the season, or splitting it up, really the regular season portion into segment 1 and segment 2. A lot of intermediate tracks at the end of the opening segment, and we're going to have a couple here in the opening weeks as well. The pace car going to go down. We'll see if the number 6 has to keep the other guys on his toes, because Tara is going to be the control car into the restart box. We'll see if Austin Jones going to figure out the name of the game on the outside. Green flag waves in P2. Going to win the battle to the start-finish line. That didn't seem like the number 9 machine jumped it, though the 6 really didn't get going out of the box again at the beginning of the box to the exit of the box. That's where that pace car, the control car, if you will, decides when to start this race. If you leave the restart box and a green flag drops and he's not going, you have every right to beat him to the start-finish line. And on the outside, Jones still not able to get clear. We'll go 3 wide. The defending champ, Ray Alfalla, up the middle, and just like that, he's side by side for the race lead and 3 wide behind for second.
What a move right there. The 9 actually up into the wall right there, trying to keep it up there out of the way, but just unfortunate for the 9. Really dove it into turn number 3 there, looking for that race lead. I had to check up, and that allowed that 2 car to really split the difference right there. Runs right between the two of them. Put Ray Alfalla now top of the board, and not looking back here as he leads this lap this time by, and it seems everything else is settled out. But then 9, big trouble in the wall a couple of times there, and he's going to have some heavy damage to get repaired.
Yeah, the 2 car had no hesitation, no fear, just ran right up the middle between those 2 drivers. Definitely took command of that and told, oh, we got trouble back in the field.
Third time tonight, problems strike deep in the field. Problems for the 36 machine. And around on the back straightaway is Bentley Glazer. He gets his Chevrolet SS turned back around the right direction, not before some contact sends him around. And as you take a look at the LSRTV replay, it looked like a little bit of a checkup on the inside, and the memo was not translated to Matthew Moose in the number 14. The butter component Chevrolet tags him in the right rear quarter panel, sends him around. A little bit of a lazy 2-car accident coming off of the back straightaway. And just like that, we slow things down for the 3rd time tonight in just the opening 12 laps. I do have to say, Ray Alfalla, we've been talking about how dominant he was in that opening segment, Andy, winning the championship in 12 races by 95 points. He won 45% of, yeah, and by the way, you want to talk about those numbers, he won 45% of the races in segment 1. He has 5 consecutive second-place finishes in the last 5 weeks. So that could have been 10 wins in 12 races if he had one more spot. The numbers have been incredible for him. That was an amazing move that he made to get to the race lead.
Yeah, it was, absolutely. And I mean, that, I think it was Kelly saying no fear at all right there, but why not? You got 5 wins on the season. You're in total domination. You won that first segment as far as the championship goes, and, he's in prime position. He'll make the chase no matter what, and he saw the opportunity, saw the opening, had the run, and took it. Just and that's shows you just exactly the confidence that he has, not only in the guys that are racing around him, but the confidence he has in himself to keep that wheel straight, keep it right through there, and he knows he's going to have the run to get through and get the job done. Because, if there was any inclination or any hesitation by him that he thought maybe he couldn't make it, he definitely would have backed out of there. But Ray Alfalla, that is why he's a 2-time Peak Series champion.
I'm going to try to dial up on the radio here our LSRTV race reporter, Josh Ball, who started tonight in the number 13 spot. He's up at P5 right now. Josh, you got a copy?
I got you.
Well, we're used to seeing you up here with us on Fridays and on a racetrack like this in a truck. You brought your Cup car out, and you're going to be running in the second segment of this ASCORS ProGeek Consulted Cup Series. You got a couple of familiar names hopping in the season also with you that we're used to seeing on Friday nights.
Yeah, a couple of guys. We came over just to see how we could do not on super speedway. So far tonight we just missed a couple of those wrecks and got ourselves up here to P5 and just looking to learn a little bit actually.
A slow and agonizing start, 12 laps in, already 3 caution flags, and you got 200 laps on the board tonight. So not the start I'm sure that you guys would have looked for, but you are up 8 positions, as you mentioned, gone 13 to P5. A couple of those spots made up on the track, and a couple of them, as you mentioned, being able to stay out of trouble. But we saw a couple of guys come down pit road in front of you. You've elected to stay out. This is such a long race. How do you keep track of strategy pit-wise?
Yeah, we just wanted to stay out here and get in front of a couple of the guys just so we're out of the wreck. See how the car is a little bit better in without the traffic, because we were pretty loose there going through that first couple of laps, even though there was a couple of cautions. So just trying to see if being up front is a little bit better on the car itself.
Before we let you go, we'll give you an opportunity here. Any shout-outs you want to throw?
Oh, just Lowe's and thanks LSRTV. Always putting on a good show every time I'm racing usually, and ASCORS for putting on the league, and thanks to all the guys that allowed us to join up tonight.
Well, we hope that we can talk with you a couple more times as the night goes on. Under good circumstances, you guys are getting set for the restart. You'll be on the inside row number 3. Good luck.
Thanks, Evan.
So that is your LSRTV 8 race reporter, Josh Ball, up 8 positions from the start of this one at a fairly good position. He'll be right behind Taylor Hurst. He'll be right behind Ray Alfalla. Those are some pretty big names to be running around, Andy, in your season debut.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for all those guys, we mentioned the guys that came with him over from the iSuper Speedway Series. You got the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. and the 32 of Seth the Merchant, and they're right lined up either next to him and one row behind him. So all 3 of those guys definitely have some watching to do here up in the front. And how about E.J. O'Rourke as well? A great qualifying effort for him, still in the 4th spot here on this restart. So some good names up in the front, and some good names that these guys can follow and learn something.
And the 48 and 88, for those that don't know and don't follow the iSuper Speedway series, they work very well together in the iSuper Speedway League. So we'll have to see if these two can link up and maybe make something happen here at Charlotte.
Pace car going to get down and away, and for the first time tonight, it is not your at-time pole sitter. Santiago Tires in control. He came down pit road. He is back in the number 9 position. So Ray Alfalla inside. Ryan Michael Luza to the outside. The 02 was the fastest driver in practice. Green flag in the air once again. Lap number 17 in the works in the Charlotte 300 and the outside. Second consecutive time. Going to beat the race leader on the inside of the start-finish on it, but the Alfalla Tech Ford fighting back. P2 is good for most people. They'd love to finish P2 5 weeks in a row, but he's sick and tired of it. Ray Alfalla wants to get in front. The 02 not letting him get away, though. They're still side by side in 3.
The 48 hits the apron there, gets touched now by the 6, and we got another wreck here in turn number 4, and that'll be our 4th caution on the night here on lap number 17. And it was 48 at Josh Ball we just mentioned there, gave him the LSRTV jinx right there, and he's going to find himself with some damage there, but just basically touched the apron there and got a little bit loose, and that was the end of it.
Yeah, he got a little loose, and people behind him just couldn't quite check up, got tagged, and a big wreck. Lots of cars involved there. There's just parts everywhere down there.
So a tough break going down at turn 3, got a little bit loose. And again, when something like that happens at the front of the field, there is very little opportunity for people to be able to get out of the way and avoid it, and that was big junk coming off of turn 4. We talked about tonight's race being the opening race of segment 2, and well, we're not at Daytona International Speedway. It seems like there's a little bit of jitters like you would see in a Daytona 500 as these guys looking to race strong here tonight and the next 13 races, 14 combined to get through the opening 26 total races when you talk about the 12 that were already completed in segment number 1 and an opportunity to not only try to win a points championship now, but the ultimate goal, make it into the chase. So Ryan Luza going to go to the point 19 laps in at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We work under the 4th caution flag of the evening. We'll take a quick opportunity, take a yellow flag of our own, and it'll return for the restart in a moment. You're watching the ASCORS ProGeek Consulted Cup Series on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
For iRacing to get Le Mans is huge. I mean, this is a unique event, a unique track where, you know, half of the track is public road, so you can never test on it, you never get experience on it, and it's 8 miles in length, 4-minute lap time in a GT car. So, you know, even if you're here for an hour of testing, that's only 15 laps, and you're only going to see the corner 15 times that day. The first section going through the Dunlop area is pretty unique. You know, it's got elevation change and off camber. Then you go down Mulsanne into the chicanes, and you know, the straights are unbelievably long. It's a tricky track, and you know, every year I've come here, this is being my 4th year, you learn something new every time.
We've wanted to add Le Mans to iRacing for a long time, and we've really been working hard towards it for the last 5 years. But really, things only came together in the last week leading up to this race, so it was a real scramble to put everything together. The majority of Le Mans is public roads, so when they're preparing for the 24-hour race, it's really the only time that we can visit to laser scan and photograph the track so that we can recreate it in iRacing. We work closely with the ACO to get essentially exclusive access to the facility and everything that we needed to get the laser scanning and photographic reference that we need to create the track. We were very fortunate to be at Le Mans at the most important time of the year and gain that experience of being there. And we're going to really do the best we can to put that into our work and making sure that the Le Mans in iRacing is the best Le Mans, the most exciting and accurate recreation of the track possible.
Welcome back to Concord, North Carolina, and the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're working now 21 laps in of 200 on tonight. Charlotte 300, the opening race of 14 in the second segment of the 2016 ASCORS ProGeek Consulted Cup Series. We'll double up and get set for the restart. This restart brought to you in part by ProGeek Consulted LLC. Since 1998, ProGeek has been providing IT solutions to small and mid-sized businesses in the Minneapolis-St. Paul metropolitan area. Their strong work ethic, attention to detail allows them to provide the best solutions for your needs. They specialize in a wide range of solutions, including infrastructure, networking, servers, storage, virtualization, security, virtual CIO, and IT strategy. So, on the outside, the last time, Ryan Luza beats Ray Alfalla to the caution flag, so they'll switch up the 0-2 to the bottom and the 2-4 to the outside. The pace car going to go back down and away, 4th time tonight off of the yellow, green flag.
Good jump by 0-2 of Luza there to get out ahead of Ray Alfalla. Ray Alfalla will be able to jump down to the bottom along with E.J. O'Rourke, leave a side-by-side battle between that 74 of Hurst and the 12 of Alex Bergeron now for that 4th spot as they exit turn number 2. And count the 88, the 1, they're all coming as well. They just have nowhere to go at this present moment.
Yeah, it seemed like back in the field they kind of checked up a little, and but thankfully everyone's able to get out of there clean. It seems that we're finally going to be able to start to filter down. No, not anymore. We've got a bunch of cars side by side as the 2 car continues to chase down the 0-2.
Yeah, the 0-2 machine of Luza did a great job of powering in front, not allowing Alfalla to keep it side by side. Again, it looked like that 2 machine was going to be able to get the upper hand of Luza on that second to most recent restart on the inside. Because the 0-2 kept a nose on the outside, he was able to pinch him down, use some side draft, and evidently had a nose in front with the caution flag flew. They're not going to let each other get away awfully easily, though. The top 2 starting to pull away a little bit already. 0.4 of a second in front of the Poppers Hardware Chevy of, that's the 41 back there, E.J. O'Rourke in 3rd. Gmercer.com on board. He's got to worry about the 74 of Taylor Hurst in B4 behind him, with the side-by-side battle for 5th position just to the rear of them. Alex Bergeron outside of the racetrack. He's got a challenge for the Aftermath Toyota, a Trey Edson up the inside, and the 1 car, first time tonight inside the top 5.
Yeah, Edson able to make that move. Mark Jorgensen Jr. tried to make it. He made it. Oh, the 51 loose again on the bottom side there. That is Justin Fuller. He able to keep it going straight. Everybody around him, and That's a good save right there by Justin Fuller, and they'll keep it straight, keep it green here. Talked about the 88 making it around Alex Bergeron as well, and that moves that 88 machine, Mark Jorgensen Jr., one step closer to a top 5 as well. As like these guys all the way from 4th on back here, real close as E.J. O'Rourke just lost that position, but now looking to take it back.
Yeah, what a great save by the 51 car there. And we're lucky that everyone else was able to get by him. I mean, he has to look at it this way. He lost a lot of positions, but at least his car is still on the track. Now we look up ahead at the 0-2 and the 2 car, again, still chasing each other down as they pull away from the rest of the field, nearly a second ahead of everyone else.
They are the class of the field, no doubt about it, and they're going to continue to fight while they do run single file. It is still a spirited battle for the raceway. Behind them, still side-by-side action inside of the top 10. The one car out of shape, that's Trey Edson. What a save coming out of turn 2 and 3 wide up the middle. Here comes Alex Bergeron, the S-Quick Chevrolet. He'll get both of them, so what a move as Edson still tried to get a handle on that race car on the outside of the racetrack. He'll lose 3 spots that time by, and Bergeron, who was just in the fence a couple of laps ago, now back inside the top 5.
Wow, what an absolute phenomenal job by everybody there to check up and not run into the guys in front of them, and it's going to allow that one car to keep it straight, keep it going there. Just a little bit of contact from Mark Jorgensen Jr. getting in the back of him, but they'll be able to settle it out here. The 83 of Adam Benefield, we saw him have a fantastic segment 1 here, and he's trying to climb his way up from 14th all the way up to 6th now here on the racetrack. So Adam Benefield doing a great job with that as well. The 21 of John Gorlinski making his way up through the field as well as E.J. O'Rourke continues to slide back.
And we saw the 88 take a look at the inside of the 12. Nothing happened, but here comes the 83 now, looking to the inside of the 88 as they head down to turn number 3. Is he going to be able to complete the pass side by side through 3 and 4? These 2 cars going right out as they head down the front straightaway.
Side by side they go, one on the outside of the racetrack being Jorgensen, half a car length advantage. In fact, on the outside, he almost clears them in. Bottom of the lane going to get the advantage though on the center, but 24 degrees of banking, hard to argue against that. And Mark Jorgensen Jr. now right to the back bumper of Alex Bergeron, has sole possession of the number 5 spot. Behind him, side by side they go, as Edson still tries to get really some momentum building off of the big bobble that he had. Lucky to still have that car on a racetrack after he did a marvelous job of bringing it back in. Could have been a lot worse. Did a good job of the drivers around him to keep him all on the racetrack. We're 2 wide, 2 rows deep in turn 2. Jorgensen, the one who's at the disadvantage on the inside this time, and Edson now takes P5.
Yeah, he had to check up just a little bit. He was to the inside on that bottom lane, but I had to kill the momentum there. I had to get off the throttle. It caused the 21 of Gorlinski to get right up on his back bumper. Great job by him to change lanes, basically to get to that outside, try to battle for that position as Edson moves up another spot after losing a couple of those spots here just a couple of laps ago. And you can see him using that high side to his advantage. So does the 21 now as they both try to get around that 88 machine. And here comes Adam Benefield as well.
We see a lot of drivers looking to the inside to pass, but it's starting to show that the outside line may be the faster line around this track. You do go a bit faster through the corner on the inside line, but that outside line definitely has a better launch. Just look at this, the 83 clearing the 88 without any issue.
Up the racetrack, bottom of the racetrack, really doesn't matter. There's a lot of speed all over the place here so far tonight. And Edson going to go to the inside, the crossover on Alex Bergeron. And he will almost complete the pass as the 12 Chevrolet on the outside going to challenge back, set her off. It's not going to happen. So Edson now in P4. Talked about how it was the Lusa and Alfalla show. That point going to wait for a moment. Caution back out. Big problems on the front straightaway. Austin Jones and Mitchell Hunt involved.
Austin Jones in that 9, quick toe to pit road, but he will be involved in that one there. He was just a few laps ago, got into the back of the 48 as well, too, when they were trying to check up in turn number 3. But it looks like Mitchell Hunt, heavy, hard into the wall. Looks like the 52 of Matthew Chafe just maybe checked up just a bit there. It caused the 71 and the 9 to have problems there off of turn number 2. Heavy hits for both of them, and both of them will probably be calling an early exit to this one.
Yeah, it looked like the 9 car tried to stick his nose in, but just ran out of room, got a light tap, and ended up throwing him right into the 71. Hard impact on that outside wall.
So the caution flag back out following what was working to be the longest green flag stretch so far on the night. Kind of hard to place blame on that one. The 9 going up the inside. There wasn't necessarily a lane there. He had the momentum, and I think if he checked up, he felt he was going to lose the spot to Mitchell Hunt. But for 33 laps out of 200, maybe an incident that could have been avoided. But nonetheless, bad luck for Austin Jones, because you could probably race that hard and, 4 times out of 5 you get away with it. That time, cards were not in his favor. So your leaders all unanimously decide it's time for some pit stops. Luza and Alfalla, 1-2. Bring him in.
Yeah, they all bring him in. The one of Trey Edson, though, decided to stay out, possibly just to lead a lap there, but he'll stay out on the racetrack. Ray Alfalla, 4 tires. Fuel, it looks like, for him. The 0-2 just ahead. Same stop as well, and they'll make their way off of pit road. It's going to be a pretty good battle, but Ray Alfalla is going to come out on top, so he may not have been able to pass him on the racetrack, but he gets the job done on pit road.
Yeah, great pit stop by the two team there to get ahead of the 0-2, but we'll have to see what the pit strategy call for the 1, the 23, and the 8 there. It looked like they stayed out, and we'll have to see if they're going to come down later or if they're just going to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, that's a group of race cars. We know that at least Edson going to be able to stay out and get the bonus point for leading the lap. And if he does want to come back down pit road, the option is available to do so. But with he and a couple of other cars beat up there as well, you got J.D. Laird out there who's 3 laps down behind them. Adam Gilliland from the lead lap. He'll decide pit road is necessary. Ray Rittenauer then the only additional driver out there on the lead lap. So you got 2 cars who appear that they're going to want to stay out. J.D. Laird in a bad spot, because if Edson doesn't stay out, he gets a wave by. Now he's going to have to drop to the back, so that's not good news for somebody who especially already is 3 laps down.
Yeah, he was probably hoping a lot that Trey Edson would come down. He could get that wave around, get one of those laps back, but unable going to happen this time, and J.D. Laird will have to start back towards the back of the field there. He might be able to come in and pit, but I'm not sure exactly if it'll be closed or not for him. So he does have to go to the back of the field, and that's going to leave Ray Alfalla in the 0-2 of Michael Luza Ryan Michael Luza, I should say, to get the job done here, to get around these 2 guys on the older tires. Honestly, the amount of speed that those 2 guys have been showing all night, I don't think it'll be too much of an issue.
And especially with those old tires of the front 2 cars, I think they might get run over pretty quickly in this these opening laps of this restart. I don't think it's going to take the 2 and the 0-2 very long to get back into the front.
We're going to find out, because again, we know that fresh tires are obviously a huge advantage on the racetrack, and we saw a couple of people split up the decision 2-3 stops into this race, but I really think that it shouldn't be much of an issue for Alfalla and Luza to be able to get the job done. Edson at the front of the field is going to stay out. Meanwhile, Ray Rittenauer with the second rolls through pit road the first time, and he will come down this time to take 4 tires and fuel, which leaves solely the number 1 Toyota out on no tires, and he'll choose the outside.
Yeah, choose the outside lane. I think that benefits that 2 on this restart. He can get a pretty good jump. He'll pretty much could probably hold it wide open, at least through turns 1 and 2, so I definitely want to give the advantage to the 2 and the 0-2 on this restart here. Not sure exactly the strategy of the 1, unless it's a fuel mileage game that he's trying to play, but we'll see how it goes. The 8 of Adam Gilliland caught on pit road there. He'll have to drop to the back as well, lose a lap from the field, and the 87 of Ray Rittenauer drove through his pit box that first time around and allowed him to stay out on the racetrack there till the 1 to go, and we've seen him do that many, many times, so not surprised at that one here, but we get set to get this back underway, and Trey Edson, I believe he's going to have his hands full on this restart.
Yeah, the 2 car has that inside line, and he's going to definitely go right after the 1 car.
The base car down and in. We'll see if Alfalla could use the inside to get that position in turn number 1. Green flag in the air and back it away. Lap 38 behind us. Lap 39 to the works. And you can just see those tires spinning on the outside. 3 wide for the race lead as John Gorlinski. He'll go all the way up to the outside fence. Not going to be able to stay in the throttle to make that line work. He has to jump back in behind the one of Edson. But all of that after the 2 machine of Ray Alfalla gets to the point, and the 0-2 machine of Ryan Luza gets the P2.
Yeah, you see the one just on the high side letting these guys go by right now. It's going to get pretty treacherous on corner exit with the slower car there, but so far everyone able to get around him right now. Seth the Merchant in that 32 just being stuck behind him. Going to go 3 wide here through 1 and 2. They'll be able to clear him, and that'll move that one car further back now through the field as Ray Alfalla continues to lead into turn 3.
Yeah, I'm sure at this point the one car is thinking about the choices he could have made there before. He's definitely moving the wrong way now as the 2 car of Ray Alfalla starts to open a gap on the 0-2.
He's trying to stretch this one out just a little bit. Again, what was happening vice versa to this is the 0-2 actually looked like he was starting to stretch away from the 2 machine of Alfalla. Alfalla had actually fallen back about 7/10 off of the lead spot, and it was going to really soon have to deal with the battle for third on the racetrack with the car coming up behind. All of that going on obviously just before the caution flag came out, and that's where we find ourselves now. How about Alex Bergeron, though? Started in 17th position on the grid, was an 18th place car in practice, and just kind of looked like he had a mid-pack car, but this number 12 Chevrolet has come to life on the green flag stretches in this race, and he's been up there on the podium for the better half of it.
Yeah, he's done a great job, that young driver in the 12, to race with these guys up in front of him and behind him as well as he has so far in this race. It's a great job, obviously, by him, but still plenty of time left in this race, and he's got a lot of time to to keep this up and keep this going. But he's definitely doing everything right at this point. Being up front, that's where you got to be.
Look at these 3 cars have almost an equal gap between them as they start to pull away from the field. They want to have their own race out there.
Just behind them, you got the number 88 of Jorgensen. He'll go to the bottom of the racetrack on Sean Gorlinski at a side-by-side fight for the number 4 position on the racetrack. And the 88 over the radio waves the 21 on by. So Gorlinski going to get that spot, the 21 back where he started this race in P4. And it looks like the number 83 of Adam Benefiel now into the conversation. He might have something to say about that. He has the 32 of Seth the Merchant behind him. They started 14th and 16th. They run right now P6 and P7.
That's a great job. We know Adam Pettifield's a lot better on the longer run, so as this continues to run green as we go on board the 32, and we look out his front windshield, and you see as he able to get around that 83 machine right there into turn number 1, so move Seth the Merchant up another spot. Now we'll chase down a fellow Y Superspeedway driver right in front of him, the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr., and just a second ago, that gap is starting to shrink up towards the front of the field. Ryan Luza has absolutely caught Ray Alfalla, and he's also done it with pulling Alex Bergeron into the mix as well. So these top 3, they have not separated at all in this initial start.
No, that top 3 is definitely bunched up in the last couple laps here. As we're gonna have to, I think we're going to start seeing some challenges now as the 0-2 gets even closer to the 2 car. You're going to have to start wondering if he's going to look to the inside or the outside, because we've seen earlier the inside line has to check up a little bit for that outside line to make sure they don't slide up into them. That may kill a lot of their speed, so you're going to have to wonder if is he going to set up a pass and maybe try the outside line for this.
And something we also saw over the weekend is if you try the outside lane, that's a good way that somebody can put you in the fence for the win. To keep it in mind later in this race, it's looking like it could be a situation where the 2 and the 0-2 go down to the knuckle for this one, but to the inside goes Luza. Jumps back in line, not going to commit to the move yet. I was talking about how he was pulling away, may have a better long-run car than Ray Alfalla in front of him. He's just looking for an opportunity to pounce.
Yeah, he's looking for an opportunity, maybe a mistake. If he's waiting for a mistake, hopefully he's not holding his breath. The number 2 does not rarely make mistakes. We saw, I think, 1 in the first 12 races in segment 1, and it ultimately cost him a win. I believe it was at Las Vegas, maybe. I'm not sure exactly which one it was, but it still ended up being a second-place finish for Ray Alfalla, but a little bobble by him. I remember that one into the corner, and allowed the driver in second to get around him, pick up the win, and put him back for another second-place finish. So they had 5 of those and 5 wins. Not too shabby for a first segment, and looking to start this one off on the right foot as well tonight here. Leading again on lap 49, but at 0-2, that's staying right with them. They're pulling away, though, for Bergeron.
Yeah, and we talked about earlier that Ray Alfalla had 5 second-place finishes in a row. While a lot of people, yes, would be happy that it's a good points finish, at the same time, that's not a race win. And I'm pretty sure that tonight he's definitely determined to keep himself ahead of that 0-2 car. But look at the gap now that they've pulled over the 12, as the 21 now goes to the inside into the 3rd position, nearly a second ahead.
Yeah, he's trying to get himself at a better spot and get out of some traffic. I think that's the ultimate goal for all of these guys. And Gorlinski making a move now to try to enjoy a little bit of clean air. Bad news is that he has the clean air because he's the second off of the guys that are in front of him. But the good news, he's now in front of Alex Bergeron. Bergeron back to P4, and John Gorlinski on a podium position at lap number 51. Curious to see what Jorgensen and Merchant are going to do. They've been basically coming up to the field together. I mentioned that they started 16th and 14th. Well, Jorgensen started 12th himself there in his own battle also. And he'll look to the inside. A lap car going to force that a 3-wide situation. And he backs out of it for the time being. And they wait to go another round. Meanwhile, up front, still the 2, still the 0-2. The gap is, well, 2 car lengths. Conveniently enough between your leaders down in turn 1.
But they are going to lead this field right now as they made their way around the 48 of Josh Ball, lap car machine. But some action going on right now. A little further back, some 3 wide just for a moment there off of turn number 2. Alex Bergeron is going to take advantage, though, on that outside lane. How about the 32 with Seth the Merchant picking up a spot on the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr.? That puts him up into the top 5 now as they come up onto Josh Ball here for the lap down machine. You can just see the speed difference with the damage on that 48 machine. And you can see how much faster these guys are as they enter turn number 1. But that's a pretty good jumble of cars right here from the 12 on back. And they're still racing it out here down the back straightaway.
And look how close those 3 cars are. They got to wonder, are they going to set up something on this corner here? It looks like the 88 looks to the inside, but the 32 just shuts the door on him. Coming out now of turn number 4 as they head to the front straight. 88 car right on the bumper of the 32. And he goes to the inside, side by side at the line. Seth the Merchant with a slight advantage. They head into turn number 1. Mark Jorgensen, great run on the inside to clear the 32.
Gets the job done, finds his spot in line, and check mark. In another position, the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. now picking up 7 spots. From the start of the race, he wants another to the inside on Bergeron. That lane is wide open, mainly because I don't really think the 12 car wants it. Bergeron been doing a really good job working up on the outside of the racetrack, 1 to 2 lanes higher than what we've been seeing out of the 88 and the 32. And even though that's his preferred line, it's still going to be tough to hold off of Jorgensen. But a big power run coming out of turn 2. He comes, and it's going to be able to allow him to maintain that advantage in the battle for P4. And now, in fact, side by side for 5th, because the 32 is Seth the Merchant. Uses that as an excuse to jump to the outside. That not going to work, and now side by side with Taylor Hurst. So if you make a move and you can't make the pass, there's a chance that the guy behind you is going to take it away from you. That's the moral of the story that we're seeing in the group of 4 cars here.
Yeah, we are. 32, though, way high up to the wall there, Evan, and looks like having trouble scrubbing some speed off of there. Still gets a good run down the back straightaway. He'll pull up even now with the 88 as they go back into turn number 3. Alex Bergeron, I think, at this point, maybe be holding up these cars here behind him, and because he's running that high side, his caution comes out once again here on the speedway, and we'll try to get a handle on who that was, but like the 48 of Josh Ball maybe the cause of that one. He's in the grass there in turn number 3, so another caution here out on the speedway, but I would say at that point that 12 looked like he might have been holding up the rest of those guys.
Yeah, we take a look at, we'll get a second view of that one on the LSRTV replay. Big problems going down the back straightaway. Josh Ball off pace, obviously, and it looked like a miscommunication. He was up against the fence, and I believe the 89 saw him up there trying to go to the middle. The 48 tried to go to the middle to get away, and kind of in just a little bit of miscommunication, I guess, Kelly. They drove right into each other.
Yeah, you got to be wondering if they were on the radio to each other and just one of them maybe said pass high, and maybe the 89 thought he said I'm going to stay high, but it almost looked like, yeah, they just drove straight into each other. Just a hard hit for the 48, unfortunately, and a little bit more damage to the 89.
So a tough break with a couple of cars that have had a rough go at it so far. Leaders down pit road, going to allow Tyler Dalton to take over the race lead on the racetrack, and Ray Alfalla going to lead the first couple of cars off of the pit lane on 4 tires over in front of him, and also I think coming onto the pit lane, Ray Rittenauer in the 87. And he elected to stay on the right-hand side and drive straight through. We've seen him do this once already. A lot of people like to refer to that one, Andy, as the Timmy Hill move, because if you don't come down pit road, You're not allowed to pit after 2 to the green. We'll take 2 laps to go to the restart. When we come around to take the white flag, pit road is going to be closed. However, in the sim, if you pass through pit road once already, you can then pit at that 1 to go mark. And that's the strategy that he's implemented now twice tonight.
Yeah, it definitely has. Tyler Dalton didn't do that. He got a lap led. He'll come down pit road. That's going to allow those 2 cars there to get the wave around, but that's also going to give the 87 the opportunity here to get a lap led because he'll be able to come down this next time around. So good points thought there from the 87 to Ray Rittenauer, and he'll get that bonus point here for leading a lap, but ultimately that'll relinquish the lead back to Ray Alfalla once he comes back down. But how about that 21? What a great stop by John Gorlinski. And he started 4th, but he kind of fell back a little bit there at the beginning. He's slowly been picking them off one by one, and he was up to that 3rd spot here quite a ways back, almost 2 seconds back of the race lead, and he was great job on pit road, come out 2nd.
Yeah, and as we talk here, Alex Bergeron, the 12 car, started in 17th position, is now running 5th after a great pit stop, got him as well ahead of the 0-2 car.
So Tyler Dalton, who had taken over the race lead, has since been down to the pit lane for service. It does put Rittenauer in the control car position, but again, we fully expect that he'll be back down pit road. Adam Gilliland staying out for a wave by. He'll go from 2 laps down to 1 lap down, and J.D. Laird staying out for the wave by, going 3 laps down to 2 laps down. They'll be able to be waved by the pace car if they neglect to come down for service when we do take the 1 to go and the lights go out.
Yeah, and Ray Rittenauer makes his trip down, so this will give that lead back to the number 2. And when we get set to go racing, these 2 guys get the wave around. We'll double it up here and set to get back underway as we work lap number 60. 140 to go when we take the green flag. Still a long ways to go here in this 300-mile event.
Yeah, I'm gonna suggest that people keep an eye on the 0-2 car. He was running strong second to the 2 of Ray Alfalla, but now he's back and forth on the outside. And I'm sure he's not going to be content at staying there for long. We're going to have to see which line is going to get a better start. And if he can make that outside line move and maybe try to gain a position or maybe even 2 positions and maybe try to get ahead of Ray Alfalla before he can gain his momentum.
So the lights on top of the pace car have gone out as well as extinguished around the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're past quarter distance in the Charlotte 300, lap number 60 of 200 on the night being set to be put away, and we will be left with 140 laps of competition still left to go. Ray Alfalla to the inside of the front row and John Gorlinski to the outside. The pace car makes a sharp left-hand turn, down and away. Off of the caution flag we come. Green flag waves and back and away.
Good jump there by the 21 of John Gorlinski. What an awesome job he did right there on that restart. A little checkup, the 0-2. Not getting the start he wanted. Maybe spun the tires, maybe missed a shift right there. That'll jack up that top side there. It'll push him back a couple spots as well as he'll fall in line now behind that 51 of Justin Fuller. Is Ray Alfalla going for that lead, trying to get it away here as he goes to the inside. Alex Bergeron trying to hang with him. Gorlinski, the outside lane, not giving up too quickly.
As we come down the front straightaway here, the 2 car just edging out the 21, nearly making contact as they come down into turn number 1 now. We'll see if the outside line is better on here.
21 sits about half a lane up. He sits on the right rear quarter panel of the 2. Here comes the crossover for the first time tonight. Gorlinski got a shot at going to the point at the bottom of the racetrack. They go side by side, but the outside has such a good advantage being able to get back to the accelerator, center off of the corner, and Alfalla going to maintain P1 for the time being. Meanwhile, the battle for third behind them. Up the inside comes Mark Jorgensen Jr. Challenge on the outside by Alex Bergeron coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, he wasn't able to make this work on that last green flag run because that outside lane by the 12 was just being held so nicely, but here with these fresher tires, Jorgensen Jr. trying to get it done, unable to get it done. That's going to allow that 0-2 of Luza now to come into the picture as well as Bergeron makes that pass for third, and now that 0-2 is going to get fourth and put that 88 back 2 spots here into that 5th spot, and he's under pressure from the 51 and Justin Fuller as well.
Yeah, the 51 now with a great run coming off the corner onto the back stretch. Look at that, just goes flying by him, clears the 88 easily, and even starts to close the gap on the 2 car there. Now, Jorgensen's been running the low line all night, but we've seen the high line getting that great run off the corner. You have to wonder, is he going to have to adjust his line, or is he just going to keep doing what he's doing and see if he can make it work?
The constant game of checkers, inside or outside, continues on. And there's a couple of these 1.5 mile racetracks where we do have progressive banking. That's not the case at Charlotte. 24 on the bottom, 24 on the top. But again, when you're on the outside, especially coming off of the corner where we're seeing these challenges, or a lot of the time, like guys like to go to the bottom bank move. The defensive runs is a big bobble for Ray Alfalla. Going to open up the inside wide open for John Gorlinski. And no doubt about it, the 21 gets the job done. 2 coming back at him, but there's nowhere to go because the inside door slammed shut by a challenge courtesy of Alex Bergeron. But that move by the 2 shows it right there on the outside. You're coming down a hill 3-4 stories tall. That's what gives you the upper hand. And I don't think that 2 is going to go quietly into the night. He's coming right back at him. Lap 66. Back to the inside and side by side for the point. This time Alfalla on the bottom.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that 21 squishing him down pretty good there off of turn number 2. Going to have the advantage going down the back straightaway. And I think the 2, we know he's human, but right there was a mistake made by Ray Alfalla. And for him, it was benefit that he could make up, or it's early in the race that he has time to get that back. I mean, obviously the speed's there. You can see him closing the gap on that 21 as we go on board with that machine, and they head back into turn number 1. And just a great job by that 21 to take advantage of it and now keep the lead.
Yeah, you saw the 21 after the 21 got around the 2 came back hard at the 21. He's definitely a man just on a warpath tonight. I don't think he's going to settle for anything less than first. He looks like he's going to go wreckers or checkers because he went right after the 21. I think even giving him a little bump earlier. But now the 21's starting to open up a bit of a gap, and now as a 2 maybe calmed down a little or regained his composure, or is the 21 just outrunning him?
We know that with all the experience behind a wheel that Ray Alfalla has, the 2-time NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series champion, most, if not all things he does behind the wheel are calculated to some degree, and that was spectacular racing that he and the 21 were going at after each other, and those names are not familiar to one another, so we're able to kind of get at each other a little bit. But again, Alfalla's car, although we have had a decent amount of yellows, if you want to put it that way, in the opening 70 laps, starting to get a couple of good green flag stretches, which is great news, closing in on the halfway point. But with the yellows, we haven't seen a long green flag stretch. I still think that may be where the 2 is lacking, but he's keeping the 21 of Gorlinski honest, and in fact, just behind him, that 02 of Ryan Luza into the conversation. Now it's a 3-car battle for the race lead.
Yeah, 3-car battle with the lap cars and Alex Bergeron as well just behind him. But look at Ray Alfalla close the gap off of turn number 2. Going to peek again to the inside. Not sure if he's going to go. He's going to go for it now. So head back into turn number 3. Not quite enough. That high side still will prevail. John Gorlinski doing a fantastic job hanging on to this lead. But here comes Alfalla with the run off of turn number 4 on the bottom side. I don't think he'll lead that lap. He won't. John Gorlinski will still have it. Ray Alfalla looking forward in turn number 1.
Yeah, and look, the 21 might have just tapped the wall coming off of turn 4 there, but he hasn't given up. He's still right on him. But the 0-2, you can't count him out either. He's right behind. But the 21 of the 2 goes side by side at turn number 3. Door to door as they head through turn 3 and 4. The 2 car just edging out the number 21.
And you got an on-board look at the battle this time. Lap number 72 comes to a draw. And while this battle goes on, and you could argue that the battle between Alfalla and Gorlinski allowed Luz to get into the conversation. I think the 0-2 would have been there even if we'd been single file. But these 3 going at each other. It's not letting guys fourth at the back catch up. Justin Fuller, by the way, has done a good job of recovering from a big bobble that he had earlier that dropped him way outside the top 10 after he started at 9th. He's in the number 4 spot at the moment, fighting with Mark Jorgensen Jr. for that spot. But that battle is now a second behind the side-by-side fight for P2. And it looks like finally Ryan Michael Luza going to get that spot. And now he sets his sights on 2-time.
He's going to set his sights on him now as they go back into turn number 3. He's got about 4 or 5 car lengths to make up here as they work their way through that corner. The 51 still struggling a little bit, letting that 88 keep up to him just behind in that 4th spot right now. But Michael Luza trying to close that gap just a bit. He does just ever so slightly there. that last time around, and you can see physically on the track about down to 4 car lengths now as they exit turn number 2, and they start to leave that 21 in their dust.
Yeah, as the 0-2 and the 21 fought with each other side by side, they had to slow up a little bit, which gave the 2 a bit of time to open up a gap. But as we see, the 0-2 is just clawing his way back up. He's not letting that 2 car get away from it. But look at that, they've just dumped the 21 behind them. They're flying away from him.
You want to talk about somebody shifted into another gear, you'd think they're in a Fast and Furious movie. They're running full speed. Next thing you know, there's a new gear out of nowhere, and they're pulling away 7/10 in front of John Gorlinski. The 21 not losing a lot of time to Justin Fuller either. That gap still 6 or 7/10 of a second to 51. NOS Energy Toyota doing a good job. He's got a new challenger, by the way, in that battle for 4th. Taylor Hurst picks up P5 from Jorgensen the last time by, back inside of the top 5. But Gorlinski now starting to fall off. The 2, the 0-2, step for step, dead even at the front of the field, but Alfalla in front by 6 car lengths.
Yeah, it's fluctuated just a bit. They close the gap a little bit. The gap extends some more the next lap. So they're running pretty consistent lap times, but just not enough for that 0-2 to catch up to them now. This late in the run, tires have worn out. We're starting to wear out, I should say, about 10-15 laps into this run. So it will start showing. Some of these guys maybe coming through the field that did save their tires, or you'll see guys like the 21 of John Gorlinski that maybe pushed the issue at the beginning, trying to keep himself in front of that 2 and keep him up on those guys' back bumpers, and see him struggling now, actually falling back towards the 74. Taylor Hurst was able to get around Justin Fuller that last time by.
Yeah, and you got to think the 21 only got past maybe 5 or so laps to go, and now they've opened up. 1.2 seconds separate the 0-2 of Ryan Michaeluza and the 21 of John Gorlinski. And the 74 now is coming right up behind the 21. They might be challenging him for the P3 in the next couple laps.
He's definitely catching it. It looks like John Gorlinski might not have much left of those Goodyear Eagles underneath him, because he's really now starting to fall off at the pace. And again, all of this, well, your top 2 are still putting time on Taylor Hurst in 4th. So while the 74 has got the 21, he goes to the outside, side by side for 3rd. Should be short-lived, no problem for Hurst on the outside, back at a podium spot. Down the back straightaway. They're not losing any time in reference to P1 and P2 to any of these guys. They're still moving. But Ray Alfalla, I've been talking about how bad that car is on the long run. I guess not. He's loving the clean air now and starting to inch away to one of the bigger leads we've seen from him tonight.
Yeah, it is one of the bigger leads so far tonight, but this is one of the better green flag runs that we've had here. So we work lap number 81, and we'll put ourselves just 120 still left to go in this event. A few more pit stops for these guys as well, and we keep going at this rate. We'll be talking about a green flag pit stop as well. So a good job by all these guys here. 21 cars still on the lead lap, and pretty good battles right now from that second position on back here as the 21 continues to slide back, but the 74 is showing some speed as he pulls away from Mark Jorgensen Jr. as well.
Yeah, the 74 is pulling away, but I don't know if he's got the speed to keep up with the leaders in front, as Ray Alfalla has now opened up a gap of 6/10 over the 0-2 of Ryan Michaeluza. Now the 88, though, is starting to look at the 21, might be able to start using that draft to his advantage and maybe close that gap a little.
And we'll see. In all of this, by the way, we've been talking a lot tonight about battles inside the top 5 and, battles 6th and 7th position. There's still plenty of fighting going on around the racetrack. 20 cars remain on the lead lap of the 39 that started tonight. That's about a 50% attrition rate through the opening half of the race. And there's, I think, 23 cars total with 3 drivers laps down still on the racetrack that are still out there on the racing surface. Mark Jorgensen wants his crack at moving up one additional spot. However, the 21 figured out that maybe going to the outside, a better defensive line to run, and the 88's having a lot more problems than the 74 did.
Yeah, he is, but that's the 74 going to the high side to make that pass. Jorgensen Jr., you think he would have learned something to go on that high side or try to set him up for a high side pass here. So we'll see what he can do as he's caught up to that back bumper now. And they head back into turn number 3, but that 88's just been so strong at sticking to that white line each and every single lap since the beginning of this race that it's probably hard for him to adjust at this point.
Yeah, Jorgensen's very committed to that inside line, but right behind them, the 51 and the 83 who had a quick battle there. Now the 32 might be looking to go around them. Oh, the 23 now is on the inside of the 32 coming out of turn number 2. What a great run by that car.
And that's the difference between fresh tires and old tires. And that's why, we talk about how important pit strategy is. Being the first one to pit out of the first couple of cars around you could be a big advantage in the long run, as we are still side by side for the number 4 position. Gorlinski still on the outside of the racetrack, just not letting the 88 get by. A little bit of 3 wide. How about that? With the 8 car upside with some damage. That's Adam Gilliland, and that is going to end that battle. Jorgensen takes the spot.
It does, and that 8 actually played havoc for the 51 at Justin Fuller as well. He's going to lose 2 spots there. Adam Benefield gets around. So does the 32 now of Seth the Merchant as well, so that'll move those 2 guys up a couple more spots as well. But that 88 now up to that 4th spot here. Starting to chase down that 74. Not going to have much for him here on this run, as Ray Alfalla starts to pull away even more, almost up to a 2nd now, as these guys all battle real close behind him.
Yeah, Ray Alfalla, the car definitely looking very strong out there, 9/10, and as they come to the line, we're going to have to see how much he's really opened up that gap. It is huge. He's almost completed the tri-oval. Oh, actually, Ryan Michaeluza has taken a little bit out of that, out of his lead in that last lap now. He's down to just 8/10. Maybe we'll start seeing the 2 just start clawing his way back slowly there, but still, even after that, there's 2 seconds almost back to Taylor Hurst, with Mark Jorgensen Jr. another 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, now Falla really stretched out the lead the last couple of laps, but you're right, the last time by, a 1/10 of a second advantage went to the 02 behind him. This time by, back the other direction, 1/100th in favor of Ray Alfalla. So that's going to continue to bounce around, and I think we have to agree that the clean air doesn't hurt, but Ray Alfalla has a fast car. We've talked a lot about his winless streak being 5 weeks, and you might think that it's kind of silly to talk about that, but he had 5 wins in the opening 7 races of that opening segment, winning the season opener in Daytona, the 2nd race at Atlanta, the 3rd race at Las Vegas, and the 5th and 7th rounds in Fontana and Texas, respectively. A 2nd place in Bristol, Richmond, Talladega, Kansas, Dover. Still got the championship, albeit, but he's not going to be able to run full time in this 2nd segment, which him already having wins. He's well locked in for the championship grid if he can string together enough nights to be able to fight for that later on in the year, but I'm sure that he would really like to break that streak. And it's not like he's had a 2nd place car. I think at least 3 of those races, and he had a fair shot at winning. It just didn't go in his favor tonight. So far, so good. 9 laps shy of taking the cross flags.
Yeah, and this is exactly what that 2 does, though, is he'll, it'll be close for a while, but you get on these long green flag runs like we're on right now, and it just seems that he's able to find that other gear we talked about and just really pull away from these guys, and just on the long run, it just helps out tremendously for that 2. As you can see, the J.D. Laird in the 23 lap down with the fresher tires. He'll get around Ryan Michaeluza there, trying to get a lap back the hard way right now. He is 4 laps down, currently in that 22nd spot there, but you got to look out that 74 as well, starting to close the gap on Ryan Michaeluza. So the 74 in the long run, a pretty good car. And how about Adam Benefield as well, just making his way around John Gorlinski, and he's up to the 5th spot. So we know that 83, he's shown it out that whole first segment with the long run speed that he's got. His pit road's starting to get busy. 21, the first one to come down to these leaders.
Yeah, look at the 23 car now, quickly slipping to the inside of the Ray Alfalla. He's not on the lead lap, so he hasn't taken the lead. But those fresh tires have made a huge difference over the between these 2 cars. I mean, we talk about how strong Alfalla has been, and he just got flown right by him. It definitely shows you the difference between well-worn tires and brand new Goodyear Eagles.
The best lap at Ray Alfalla tonight, a 27.933. That came back on lap number 62, and that was at the start of this most recent green flag stretch. Last time by, a 30.0. So that's a 2-second per lap differential between old tires and fresh tires. So, it almost goes without saying that fresh tires are better than old tires, but when it comes down to pit stops, you pit a couple of laps sooner than somebody else, you're making up 2 seconds per lap. Alfalla going to come down pit road, and he can't avoid it. Caution flag will drop just as he was about 15 feet from the commitment cone. He locked it up and tried to turn out, and he's not going to be able to, and that might just strike your at-time race leader with a penalty, it might work out. We'll have to see where the scoring loops put him, but he does come into his stall, and he will be serviced. We don't know yet. This could be really good. It could be really bad. We'll find out.
Yeah, and the replay will go up on your screen. The 12 of Alex Bergeron, the cause of that caution there, and he was running up in that top 5 for the majority of the night here. But the 12, it finally bit him there, and he ends up with a huge damage to that back end of that race car, and he's going to have some trouble here on this one. The pace car, though, it's going to be close for Ray Alfalla if he gets put down a lap or not, but that was a tough break for him, and here come the leaders now down pit road, and we'll see what happens with that, too, as scoring loops start to cycle through, but Luza leading the way down to pit road, Taylor Hurst and Mark Jorgensen Jr. to follow.
Yeah, I haven't heard over the radio if the two of Ray Alfalla got a penalty or not, but we start seeing these cars go in. I'm going to assume that they're all going to take 4 tires. It was a very long green flag run we had, and we did see the difference earlier between those cars with old tires and the car with fresh tires. So it looks like there's 4 tires for the 0-2. He gets away clean. Can he beat the 74? Yes, he will. He has an easy win off of pit road.
No challenge coming out of pit road, and for that 2 of Ray Alfalla, well, he leads at a quarter number 2, so assuming that he doesn't get hit with a penalty, I think that might just put him in front of Ryan Michaeluza for what could become the race lead. We will have to see on the inside of the racetrack, and the wave by to the top side, so I do believe because he didn't get to that commitment cone before the caution flag came out, that he will be penalized for entering a closed pit, and that is going to be an end of the longest line penalty.
End of the longest line, but you still can't count out that 2 car. We still got 105 laps to go in this race here tonight, so he may have to restart in the back here. The only thing he's going to have to be weary of is getting around these guys in front of him and hopefully not getting caught up in somebody else's mess. So that's the biggest thing he's got to watch out for, but we know he's got a fast enough race car. We should see him towards the front here later on.
Yeah, if I was a car in front of that, if I was in one of those cars in front of the 2 car, sorry, getting those 2 mixed up, I would be a little nervous because we saw how fast and how hard that 2 can run. I don't think he's going to take any. He's just going to. I think he might just throw caution to win. We're almost halfway through this race. He doesn't have time to really be slowly making his way through. He's going to have to charge hard through these guys, and we'll have to see if he's going to, maybe it might cause him a bit of trouble, or if he's just going to breeze right by them.
So we're going to have to see, but the plot thickens in Ray Alfalla in the number 2. Going to find himself outside of the top 15 for one of the first times tonight. Just shy of the halfway point, we'll take a very quick opportunity to step aside for a moment and to come back and take the LSRTV Midway race break. You're watching LSRTV's coverage of the ASCORS ProGeek Consulted Cup Series Charlotte 300 on iRacing Live.
While lions are notorious for their voracious appetites, they spend a great deal of time feeding other creatures. In fact, lions will take great care to ensure there's plenty to go around. As you can see, they keep giving with utter ferocity. Bravo, lions, and bon appetit. Do good, be a lion.
We're back live at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Ryan Luza does end up with the control car position in this race. We were talking about the strategy. We were talking about the tires, Andy, and I said you normally want to be the first one down. Ray Alfalla was the first one down. If he was down 5 seconds earlier, he would have been fine. If he was down 5 seconds later, he probably would have been able to avoid the cone. Tough luck has got the number 2 machine back in 12th.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, maybe this is what these guys up front needed to get him towards the back and see what happens there. But now they got a clean racetrack in front of them without the number 2 to worry about, at least for the time being. But like I said, there's still over 100 laps left to go in this race, and there's no doubt in my mind you'll see him up here before this thing's over.
So the pace car going to swing down to the inside, and we'll see what the O2 can do. Green flag waves, 98 laps into the books, at a rack under green flying conditions. Up to third gear, up to fourth gear. The inside, a much better advantage with a big checkup from Seth the Merchant. Third row on the outside of the racetrack. It's Luza and Jorgensen 1-2 down the back.
That was a great jump by that 88 to get up there. He restarted right behind that 02 and able to clear that 74 and go for the race lead here on this restart. And they come this time, we'll hit lap 1, number 100. And a little checkup there. The 88 getting a little tight off the corner. He's going to lose 1 spot, 2 spots, possibly 3 now as the 70. Landon Harrison looks to the back.
Yeah, Landon Harrison now on the inside, side by side with Mark Jorgensen Jr. as they come off of turn number 2. Can Jorgensen Jr. get that nice run on the outside? They're still side by side, inches away from each other as they head through turn number 3.
Side by side continues, and on each other's door they get. Outside, going to be the place to be, at least at the start finish side of Mark Jorgensen Jr. with the advantage in battle for P number 4, and Landon Harrison, and a really torn up Sonic Chevrolet behind sideways for Taylor Hurst. He'll hang on. Spectacular piece of driving for the driver of the 74 Chevrolet. He got onto the apron. That car was just about in the fence. He recovers. Benefield takes a look, but it was futile. And somehow Taylor Hurst is still in second position, but he does fall 2.5 tenths of a second back off of the 02.
Yeah, he fell back just for a second there, but what a great save he did right there. But then having the outside lane is what allowed him to get back around that 83 machine. So Adam Benefield going to have to reset and try to figure another way to get around him here. Is just behind him. Mark Jorgensen Jr. looking to the inside to set the Merchant. Awfully close right there, getting into that rear quarter panel. Allows Trey Edson now to get up into the picture as well. He's going to try to push that 32 down and give him the advantage. Just change for the lead. The 74 now. Taylor Hurst to the point in turn number 1.
Yes, that one car was a lap down just before that caution. Here he is now side by side with Mark Jorgensen Jr. Will he make it clear? Yes, and he will make it clear before turn number 3. But Jorgensen Jr. not giving up, still looking to the inside, still down on that white line like we've seen before. But the one car will definitely have that better line. And now look, here it is. Ray Alfalla, quick move to the inside of the 88. He's coming right back.
So remember that conversation we just had about Ray Alfalla getting the EOL penalty and being back in the pack? Well, he's not back in the pack anymore. To P6 in 3 laps. He's made up half the ground already.
Unbelievable right there, Evan. I mean, I don't even know where exactly he started at, but it was somewhere outside the top 15, I believe. But he's already up there at a 6 right now, and I'll tell you what, that's a man on a mission right now. He's looking to get back into this and get back quickly. I figured it'd be at least 30 to 50 laps, maybe this whole run before we'd see him back up here, but I guess not.
Yeah, Ray Alfalla not giving up anything, but look at this. The one car now on the outside of Seth the Merchant, side by side down the backstretch, gets clear before the turn number 3. Now Ray Alfalla looking to the outside of him as Seth the Merchant now continuing this fight with the number 1. Side by side they go. The number 1, though, better run. Ray Alfalla, though, as well, looking again to make a move. He's just coming right after them.
He is on a mission, and inside of the racetrack, not open. That's fun. He'll just find another way around it. To the outside he goes. He's got P5. Trey Edson on the run, not only from the 2, but he's trying to put a car between him and Alfalla. So he'll slide to the inside of the racetrack, take a spot from Benefield. The 2 making it look so easy. There's 1 spot. He'll go for the 3rd spot this lap alone. Ray Alfalla up to the number 4 position, down to turns 1 and 2, and side by side for 3rd. He'll have to wait at least 1 more set of corners to get back to the podium. Edson holds him off at a 2.
I mean, is this even fair to those guys right there? I mean, come on. Wow, what a great piece of driving by Ray Alfalla there to get there. Trey Edson, I think, though, said, no, I don't think so. Stay behind me for a while here, and he gets the advantage off of the corner there. He's going to look now for that 2nd spot, though, as Trey Edson's got some speed in that 1 car. He's going to look to try to get around Luza just ahead of him here. We'll see if he'll be able to do that, but what a great job by that, too, to come up through the field like that, and then a heck of a job by Trey Edson to hold him off.
Ray Alfalla is putting on a show tonight. And looks like he's not done yet. He's setting up for the number 1, but the number 1 now getting close to the 0-2. He looks to the inside, just cuts the grass slightly as he goes to the inside of the 0-2 car through turn number 1, makes it clear, and almost had a chance at the 74, but he pushes up the track. The 0-2 now go to the inside. Ray Alfalla now looking to see if he can capitalize on it. He gets up close to the bumper of the 1 car, gives him a little nudge as they go side by side through turn number 3.
And by the way, we did cross the halfway point. We'll take a look at that midway race break in a moment, but the battles continue on. Door banging for the number 2 spot. On squeeze to the outside of the racetrack is Edson, and he's going to get a nudge from Lewis on the inside down to turn 1. They are going at it. You'd think it's lap 199, but 90 laps to go, and the 1 pushes him back down the hill. He won't have any of it. Edson going to go to 2nd, Alfalla to the outside, trying to get 3rd with a big run into 3.
I think the 1 just bobbled there off the corner, and I think that was a heads-up job by the 0-2 to not get doored there. But no, I'm only kidding, man. What a job by these guys going after it like this. You got to love it. We're only just past the halfway point, and these guys are battling this hard. And you got to say Taylor Hurst is probably looking out his rearview mirror going, wow, that was cool. But, hey, you got to focus, man. You're in the lead right now. You got 0.2 of a second, and you got that 1 and the 2 on their way to catch you.
What a show these 3 are putting on. This is fantastic driving from all 3 of these cars. But you can tell now the gloves are off, and these 3 are just all going right after each other. No, complete disregard for their own vehicles, slamming into one another at nearly 200 miles an hour as well. Absolutely fantastic driving from these 3.
And Alfalla, now in 3rd, was able to complete the pass on the outside of Luza, and only 0.4 of a second away from Taylor Hurst as he tries to get around the number 1 Toyota in front. They're single file for the moment. Let's try to knock this out quick. Take a look at your LSRTV iRacing Midway Race Break, brought to you by iRacing, the world's premier online racing game with professionally organized sim racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, the IMSA, and more. Taylor Hurst in front of the field. He started 2nd. He leads the way at lap number 113. P2 right now. Trey Edson and Ray Alfalla restarted P12 after a DOL penalty. Is already back up to 3rd, just behind him. Ryan Luza, P4 right now, Seth the Merchant. Rounding out your top 5 as we run. Mark Jorgensen Jr., P6 with Chuck Sweeney in 7th. Adam Benefield in 8th. 9th right now is EJ O'Rourke Andy, and rounding out our top 10 is Landon Harrison.
Yeah, and then that 28 machine, Toy Woods, now sits 11th. 12th goes to the 12 of Alex Bergeron. Matthew Chafe in the 13th spot. 14th is the 21 of John Gorlinski. Justin Fuller will round out your top 15. 16th goes to Tyler Dalton. Steve Herring up to 17th after starting 39th here tonight. Matthew Quick, another one of those drivers from 35th to 18th. 19th, last car on the lead lap. That's the 44 of Paul Fugate. And 40th place right now on the racetrack. That's John Wilco in the 62.
And as we're talking about this mid-race race break, I have to interrupt here, but the 32 now has passed the 0-2, is now challenging Ray Alfalla. This 3-car fight has now turned into a 4, maybe 5-car fight. Side by side, the 2 and the 1 and the 0-2 and the 32 through turn number 1. Look at them go.
And all those guys 20th on back, with the exception of Ray Rittenauer 21st and 22nd, JD Laird 2 laps down. You're looking at 30-plus laps out of this race for everybody else in the field. Those names include Adam Gilliland, Chad Coleman, and Matthew Moose through 25th. And you take a look on your screen at the rest of that running order. This has been your iRacing Today Race Break. For more information on a wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, visit iRacing.com to sign up today. LSRTV promo code PR-2016 LSRTV. You can get a late model free of charge with the new iRacing subscription. And yes, 2 wide, 2 rows deep for P2, 3, 4, and 5. And Taylor Hurst, at least, loving it as much as we are. The 1 got real tight that time, and he'll lose a couple of spots. And a zigzag inside, outside goes Luza. He wants P2 back from Ray Alfalla.
Oh, what a great battle this is going on right now. Great heads-up driving by those guys to get around that 1 car. We had to check up just a bit. Ray Alfalla, though, continuing to try to use that inside lane as Ryan Luza trying to use the outside with the momentum to keep that spot while Taylor Hurst continues to pull away. 1 second now. Here comes the 0-2. He'll have him clear now off of turn number 4. Give him that 2nd spot. Ray Alfalla back to 3rd. Trey Edson lost another spot there, has set the Merchant now up to 4th.
Yeah, and Taylor Hurst has been making the most of this opportunity to try to run away from these guys. As they fight back here, they start to slow each other up, as now Mark Jorgensen Jr. to the inside of the 1. He's going to get clear of him into the turn number 3 as the 32 starts to look at Ray Alfalla. They start to space out a bit more, but these guys, all 5 of them, still want to fight for that 2nd position.
They are not going to give up. They're going to fight for everything that they can, and Ray Alfalla losing now that P2. He thought once he got there, he was going to have clear sailing up to Taylor Hurst, and those 3 drivers accompanying him inside of the top 5 behind him in P2 had different ideas on their mind, and this time around, 80 laps to go for Taylor Hurst in front of the field. Ryan Lusa to 2nd, Ray Alfalla in 3rd. Spectacular racing amongst these drivers. Not only has that 2 done an incredible job digging up through the field, but the side-by-side and the aggressive racing has been amazing to watch.
Oh, it's been fantastic to watch. And all this coming about halfway through a fuel run, too. So, these tires are worn, and these guys are giving it all they can here. And you can see now just starting to separate just a bit here up here after Ryan Lusa. But, these guys we're getting closer and closer to those green flag pit stops again here, Evan. And we get 80 laps to go, and it's just going to get that much more exciting, I think, once these fresh tires get on these guys. And if they can separate themselves maybe with these pit stops, who's going to come in a little bit earlier maybe and try to take advantage of it.
And now a little bit back in the field, we've got a battle for 7th position as Chuck Sweeting and Adam Benefiel side by side now into turn number 3. Which one of them is going to have a better line through there? It looks like the 83 is going to slightly get a nose ahead. Is he going to be able to clear and cut him off? No, the 26 still got his nose in there. As the 41 now just hanging on right behind them as they battle for 3rd. Going into turn number 1, 83 get a good jump on the inside to clear him and take control of position 7.
He gets the number 7 spot, and that water sheet of Trey Edson in front now, the next objective, if he wants to be able to get up to P6. Chuck Sweeney, in a quiet night for the 26 Chevrolet, has some back-end damage, but is doing a very good job. But I saw a bright red car duck down pit side. That's Trey Edson in for service at lap number 123. How long do the guys up front decide to stay out? And that'll really tell us how much of a short pit that call is.
Yeah, it definitely will. If these guys stay out at least maybe 2 or 3 more laps, it'll definitely give that advantage to the 1 car once he gets back out on the racetrack. So we'll have to keep an eye on these front runners here. Taylor Hurst continuing to lead, though. He's going to stay out on the racetrack along with Ray Alfalla and Ryan Lusa and Seth the Merchant as well. The rest of your top 5 stay out on the racetrack, so they're deciding to take the track position at least at this time. So we'll give at least a 2-lap advantage now to that 1 car once he gets back out onto the racetrack and gets back up to speed and tries to gain some of this position back as he works his way up off of turn number 2. He'll get back up on the racetrack, and one of Trey Edson, the first of the leaders to come down pit road.
Yeah, and we saw the 1 car start to make his way backwards, so maybe he was pitting early so he can get fresh tires again and hopefully kind of undercut the rest of these leaders and use this time to gain some ground on them. So once the green flag stops, finish cycling through, maybe he'll have a better position. Only time will tell, but this is definitely a long-term strategy. And
also with 75 some odd laps to go, we are far from being at the final trip down to the pit lane on the night also. So that's something to keep in mind, that when you pit now, limits and or sets up your strategy for that at least 1 additional time that you'll have to be in for.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, these guys have been running about 32 to 35 laps or so on a green flag run. So some of these guys or these leaders staying out right now could be just them saying, hey, if I stretch it out just a little bit further on these next couple of stops, I should be able to make it on 1 less stop than the rest of the guys. So that could be why they've stayed out as long as they have here. That's definitely, the longer they stay out, it's going to give that advantage to Trey Edson when everything cycles through.
Yeah, and we just had an example there of a fresh tire compared to the old tire. The 74 just got passed by the 23, who's 4 laps down, now 3 laps down. If you look at the lap times, the 74 just ran a 28.57, and the 23, 28.691. That's about 2 tenths. That's a good difference. Oh, sorry, am I reading that? Oh, wow, that is more than a second. I am completely out of proportion there, reading that wrong. That's a huge gap. Like, that's what the 21 is banking on there.
Yeah, it's the advantage. Fresh tires. We talked about the fall off, and every single time Taylor Hurst stays out on the racetrack, those guys that had pitted before him, the interval is going to go down. They would have beaten him by 2 seconds per lap, and probably for a couple, now getting down to 1.9, 1.8, 1.6, 1.5, etc. But that's going to add up if they have to make it equal amount of pit stops. If Taylor Hurst is planning on making the same stops as they are, but he's starting to get into a dangerous territory now. On the flip side, he's going to get his fresh tires. Sure, he lost a lot of time now. He'll be blistering fast compared to them. When you get back out on the racetrack, you just have to hope that you can get up to them before they come back down pit road in additional time. It's the wonders of pit strategy, and I think realistically, Andy, into tonight's race, 200 laps, 300 miles, same distance that a lot of these guys are going to be running on Tuesday night for the NASCAR Peak Entry Series event. They had to have known that strategy was going to be a big part of this one.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with the green flag or the potential for long green flag runs like the one we're currently on. We see the one making his way around the 32 and the 88 there rather quickly here, just literally pulling away from them like they're standing still. Ray Alfalla next on the list. A couple more spots just ahead of him, and he'll be back on the lead lap. So Trey Edson definitely with the advantage with those fresh tires, able to run these guys down, get his lap back the hard way, and then from there on, from when they come down pit road, it'll definitely change things around quite a bit here. Trey Edson, again, continuing to make his way up through the front of the field here, makes his way around the 02, and almost set his sights about another second ahead there to that 74 machine. 74, though, you got to say, Taylor Hurst, after starting second and kind of falling back inside the top 10 there for quite some time, he's definitely done a great job once he took that race lead over.
Yeah, and here comes the one now, passing the 74. He's now on to the lead lap. Maybe it shows these guys, hey, wake up. Oh, caution flag's out now, so maybe we'll have to we just got a wrench thrown into all of this. It was a perfect timing for the one car. He got just around the 74. We're going to have to look at what happened there.
The plot thickens as for the second time tonight. The Doy Woods entry finds problems this time at a turn 4. I believe both incidents, single car accidents. Can't recall the first one, but a second time the UPS Ford has had some issues tonight. Was running in 10th position, just got a little bit loose at a turn number 4 and was not able to hang on to that race car, and it spun around on him.
They got around on him, but you know what? I think, honestly, even though he's back on the lead lap, Trey Edson's got some issues because now he's on the lead lap. He's back there in 17th. If he stays out, he gets that race lead from these guys, but the problem with that is they'll have the fresh tires, and he won't. He'll get run right by like he did that last time there when he stayed out after a run. So he's got to come in, but the problem is now he's got all this traffic to work through.
Well, we could possibly see him stay out, but we're going to have to see now what's going to happen. Is he going to stay out and see how well his tires fare, or is he going to come back in? I mean, I don't know. I wasn't keeping track, but I don't think he was out there on those tires for very long. He could still possibly hang with them on those fresh tires. But no, it does look like he's going to dip down in.
The battle off for the race, Ray Alfalla going to stay out on the racetrack as Taylor Hurst comes in to get serviced. The number 2 of Alfalla came into the pit road, I believe at lap number 132, just before the caution came out. You want to talk about somebody who has been oh so close tonight. Taylor Hurst going to, I believe, win the 4-tire battle off of the pit lane. Ray Alfalla kind of got gypped on the last one, and I believe this makes up for it. It's the makeup call. He'll be okay because I think he was able to get down and in before the caution flag came out. If that is the case for the number 2 machine, he would be in a decent position. We'll have to see. It looks like he'll be able to at least remain on the lead lap, but it might not be the best of scenarios for him. We did see the one of Trey Edson come down pit road. That means that the decision by the one team was that if we stayed up front, we would lose more time over the course of a long run than if we just started at the back with fresh tires and tried to pick up positions. They felt like that would be the better option, so they also came in for service, but it looks like Ray Alfalla going to be forced to take the wave by. He's got fresh tires, yes, but he did it from 12th. He's going to have to do it from 17th this time.
Yeah. listen, he made it up from 12th rather quickly there, so we'll see what he can do from 17th, but that's definitely going to be a guy on a mission once again. Second time tonight getting caught down like that, so, unfortunate, obviously, for him, and it just shows you he's going to have to work at it. If he ends up pulling out the win or a top 3 in this one, he definitely worked for it, and I'm sure it'll be a little sigh of relief if we talk to him later on when this thing's over, but a great job by the 02 to actually win the race off of pit road this time, so give Ryan Luza back the race lead, and we'll see what he can do with the clean air once again. The 74, though, we saw that speed out of him on that last run. It's going to be fun to see if he can have it again here, Kelly, or if that was just kind of a one-run stint there.
Yeah, the 74 did have that advantage by those drivers behind them battling, but so we're going to have to see if he's got comparable speed to the 02, but right now, I'm not really focusing on that. I'm excited to see what that 2 car can do.
He's going to have to do it again in less time to be able to get up to the front, because he wasn't able to get all the way there quite yet until the cycle obviously broke things up. But if he does end up in the back right now, 17th, where we expect him to restart, might get at 1 or 2 spots if any of the other people behind him happen to have an AOL penalty from any additional service that they've been taking on the pit lane. But he will be way back there, at least row number 8, if not row number 9. He still has time to do it if he has the speed in the car that he had the last time. But you want to talk about somebody who, as we mentioned, 5 consecutive second-place finish, a couple of those being races that he could have won. Not saying that if he didn't have these 2 consecutive yellows hitting him at a bad time, Andy, he would have won this race. It wasn't a shoo-in by any means, but another race where he has a shot at winning, and he's going to have to fight through some adversity if he wants to be able to cash in.
Yeah, this one will mean that much more if he's able to cash in on it, to be able to do what he's done, has done so far and drive his way through the field. He'll have to do it one more time. He's going to be tested, though, this time. He's got a lot less laps to get the job done, even though it didn't take him that long to do it that last time. He's got more cars to pass, and he's got a lot less laps to do it.
Pace car going to make the sharp left-hand turn down and away, and it's going to be Ron Michael Luza's turn in front of the field. Green flag waves once again. Lap number 138 is underway from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 2 abreast all the way through the top 10 to turn number 1, and Luza breaks free.
Breaks free. Here comes the 32 of Seth the Merchant on the bottom side as well. He'll break free. Top 3 now. Single file with the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. looking to get clear as well. He does as Landon Harrison falls back one more position. The 21 of Gorlinski. We didn't talk about him much there on that last run. He fell quite a ways back, but a great pit stop by them. And he's got some fresh tires. He's looking to make up some ground as well.
Yeah, here comes the 32 past the 74. He's going to maybe make a chance to take a run at the 02 as the 88 now is starting to close up to the 74.
Trying to close that gap. It's a battle inside of the top positions on the racetrack right now. And obviously on the restarts, it's your opportunity to get the most that you can because everybody's nice and tightly packed together in those 2 wide rows when they come to take the green flag. We're single file throughout the top 10 with the exception of the side-by-side fight with the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke and the 70 Landon Harrison. Landon Harrison in the top 10 for the better second half of this race. Car still destroyed, doesn't have really a lot of long run speed, but he's doing a good job given the circumstances because the way that car looks, it looks like it should be parked.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Involved in one of those accidents, but done a great job here to stay up inside the top 10 for the time being. At least now Trey Edson making his move as well. He just got around that 70 and the 41 there rather quickly, so that one car still showing a lot of speed here late in the going, and the battle for the lead shaping up as well. Just a car length separating the top 2 now as they work their way into 3.
Yeah, the 32 is starting to close up on that 02. He might have a chance at him in these coming laps. He's definitely made his way up after that last restart. He's got some speed, and I know personally that he's a very skilled driver, so we're going to have to see if he can make a run on the 02.
Yeah, the 02 Alusa has kind of filled the void that Ray Alfalla has left behind, but Seth the Merchant there, Taylor Hurst there, even Mark Jorgensen, names that we've talked a lot about, but they have not led laps yet tonight. They've been there, they've just been a little bit off. Inside of 60 laps to go now, can they make that extra step? Seth the Merchant has seen tremendous success on Friday nights here on LSRTV. Looking to translate that into some Sunday night theatrics late, but Luza pulls a car length that time out of 2.
Yeah, he does pull a car length there, and he's going to separate himself just a bit. Seth the Merchant maybe trying to save a little bit here for this longer bit of a run here. They're going to have to make one more pit stop before this thing's over, so they have that in the back pocket too to keep in mind as we get this green flag run start to go here. And quick note, Alfalla already up to the 12th spot here. He's still working his way up through the field. Just seems like it's a little bit slower than that last go around there, so we'll keep an eye on him trying to work his way up into the top 10 and maybe possibly get himself in here into the top 5 before this thing's said and done. But pretty good battle. The front runners, again, closing the gap. Seth the Merchant looking forward in turn 1.
Seth the Merchant had a great run off of Ford. He's closed that gap as they head now into turn number 1. And just behind them, the 74 and the 88 are also starting to shaping up to have a nice little battle. But the 32 is tight to the bumper of the 02 as they run down that long back stretch. The 32 with a great draft.
Keeping them honest, that's what it's all about. The draft can go one of 2 ways. Obviously, being tucked up on somebody's bumper, you're able to use the draft to stick with them, but at the same time, you're losing a lot of downforce off of the front of that car. The car can get really tight, and unless your car's driving really good and you're just easily following that car in front of you, if you're having to force the wheel a lot, make it really sharp and really long turn radiuses to keep that car in, you're going to start smoking the tires. You're going to really start rubbing the tires off of that race car. That would not be very good news for Seth the Merchant, so he loses a little bit of time. But a battle for the race lead continues on with a gap of just 1/10 of a second. Ray Alfalla inside the top 10 picks up a spot from Adam Benefield. He's back in P9 after being in 17.
Yeah, he's up to P9, but he's also losing a lot of time, though, still on the racetrack. Each and every lap, he's losing about a 10th or 2 to our race leaders. So he may be picking off some spots, but he's definitely not closing the gap. Obviously, being in the traffic has slowed his pace down that he was used to running here when he was up towards the front of the field. So he probably needs, at this point, being about 3 seconds off, 3.5 seconds off of the race lead, might be a caution or one of those quick pit stops to make to allow him to gain some of this track position back. But Ryan Luza doing a great job pulling away from that 32. It's about 6-7 car lengths now as they exit turn number 4. It's about the same back to that 74. So these front 4 starting to separate themselves and get into a groove.
Getting in a groove has been a tough thing to do tonight for a lot of these guys. A lot of stop and start early in this one. Since then, about lap 50 on, the last 100 laps, if you will, the next time by, because Lou's going to take 51 laps to go. That's lap number 150 of 200 on the evening. Begins right there. It will be 3/4 distance the next time around. We've kind of ended up with a regular race, couple of runs at 30 to 40 lengths in time, a caution flag. They seem to always come at a green flag pit stops. We've got a little bit of a taste of the green flag service, but nothing that has allowed us to get, I think, through an entire cycle of green flag pit stops. That is yet to happen tonight, but strategy, big part early, and I think surviving even just a bigger part early. You talk about a long race, you think surviving in the long term. I think really tonight surviving happened in those first couple to 25, 30 laps. And now you're starting to be able to stretch your legs out a little bit. Only 15 cars on the lead lap. Only 21 are still on the racing surface. And we are past the 3/4 distance marker in race number 1 on the second segment. So Ryan Luza, 50 laps to go from Concord, North Carolina. Will take this opportunity to step away and go LSRTV nonstop so you don't miss a moment of the action. Pit stop still to come between us and the first checkered flag on the second segment in 2016. You're watching the ASCORS ProGeek Consulted Cup Series on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Back live under the lights tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the ProGeek Cup Charlotte 300 on LSRTV. Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler, Kelly Dahl, and Cisco Scarmuzza along with you for the ride right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Ryan Michael Luza, fastest car in the practice session with the 28.680, wasn't able to replicate that though in qualified. Started to the outside of row number 3 in P6, but has been one of 2 dominant cars on the night. The other is back in 9th, Ray Alfalla. 2 consecutive caution flags when he was coming down for pit service. 2 back-to-back times he was sent to the back of the pack. 1 on an EOL penalty, and the second after getting trapped a lap down and having to stay out for a wave by. It's not done yet. The window of opportunity for somebody to steal this one away for the O2 Chevrolet begins to narrow in. 42 laps to go this time by, and Taylor Hurst, the next nearest challenger, who's been able to get around, we will note, around Seth the Merchant for P2, starting to close the gap, a half a second off.
Yeah, just a half a second back. He gained a little bit there, about a 100th second there on that leader, Ryan Michael loses. So he's got some work to do here before this thing's over to get up there. Of course, one more pit stop still plagues these guys that they'll have to make here. Ray Alfalla moving up into the 7th spot here. He's still about a second till he gets to John Gorlinski, so you got a lot of time before that happens. On that set, the Merchant starting to fall back towards that 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. That would be the battle for that 3rd spot, but overall still another 10th gone that time as the 74 starting to show some speed that he had that last run there, Kelly.
Yeah, it's the 74. It looks like he's going to try to make a attempt at the lead here as he starts to close in. He's now got the draft of the 0-2, so that might help him get even closer now. Seems like, yeah, he's gained even more ground on this this lap here. We'll have to see when it comes to the line. But now Ray Alfalla has, even if Ray Alfalla doesn't get up to the front, he has gained 10 positions from that last restart, and even that's pretty remarkable. Like, he's just weaving his way through this crowd. But now we look again to Taylor Hurst, 3/10 back of the 0-2. He may have conserved his tires just a little better, and he might have a good shot at the lead here.
We will find out. It's gone from 5/10 to 3/10 in the last 3 times around the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Again, still outside, I believe, the window to be able to make it down to the end of this one. So from here on out, pit stop should be able to make it to the end, but I don't think that the guys up front are going to be able to make it through the checkered flag with the fuel they have on board. If they are able to, if they're not able to, regardless of the scenario, if a caution flag is to come out, no doubt that tires are going to be at a premium. And we've had a fair bit of 2-tire strategy and staying out tonight. It could get really chaotic if that situation is presented to these guys one additional time tonight. Seth the Merchant really beginning to fall back now. 2 seconds out of the conversation and right into the clutches of Mark Jorgensen Jr., the 88 machine, right on the back bumper for the number 3 spot. Right behind them, Trey Ensign lost 7/10 in that battle the last time around, going from 2 seconds off of the leader to 2.7 back. So it's a 2-car race for the number 3 spot at the moment, but 2 seconds in front of them. It is on. 3 car lengths separate Luza from Taylor Hurst in a battle for what could become the race win.
Yeah, very well could be. Obviously, the pit stop's pending that outcome as well, but that 74 has been showing the long-run speed. As the tires wear off, he's gotten a lot faster in the 0-2, trying to hang on to this race lead right now. The gap is now just 2 car lengths as they exit turn number 4 this time. It'll shrink that much more as they go back into turn number 1. The battle for the lead is on.
Yeah, coming off that last corner, the 74 had a great run, shrank that gap even more. And again, it's starting to shrink. He may have a good chance now with this draft if he can use it to his advantage. Maybe even look in the next lap or 2.
We're going to find out because the 74, he gets to him. We always say catching somebody's one thing, but executing the pass is one completely different. You can't sit around and wait. You need to execute this pass. You got to get around him as soon as you can. Meanwhile, the other name that we've been keeping eyes on, Ray Alfalla, give him 3 more from 9th to 6th in the last 10 laps. But the problem there is he is 3.8 seconds behind. So regardless of the speed, if he's not a lot faster than these guys, he is going to need another caution flag, one that will not mess his strategy up this time around. To get back into the conversation, at 167 to the inside in the quad oval, and side by side for the race lead. Taylor Hurst to the inside of Ryan Luza. They're door-to-door, coming off of turn number 2, and the 0-2 won't give it up.
He won't give it up, and the high side still giving him the advantage to keep that spot. The 74 is going to have to start thinking of trying to snooker him out and get that outside lane here on one of these corners. That's about the only chance that he's going to have to get that pass done right now. I think the 0-2 is still just strong enough. He may be a little bit slower lap time-wise from that 74 because of how much he's been able to close this gap over the past 10 or 15 laps, but you got to think that using that outside lane just going to give him the advantage, at least enough to keep that 74 at bay.
Yes, the outside line, definitely the stronger line when you've got those worn tires, because you don't want to, if you're on the inside, you've got to lift off just a little to make sure you don't slide up into that outside line and take them out. But here comes the 74 looking to the inside as they go side by side across the line, through the quad oval into turn 1, completely even. 74 swinging past them to take the race lead.
And just like that, Taylor Hurst, third time's the charm. Bottom lane, down in turns 1 and 2, and clear down the back. A new race leader at lap 169. Taking it away for the 0-2, Ryan Luza, is Taylor Hurst, and the 0-2 says, all right, 4 tires, it is. And a hard entry down to pit road. I love this call for Ryan Luza, because Taylor Hurst is now going to be forced, I think, to pit the next time around as pit stops have began to get underway, because now, if Taylor Hurst stays out, he loses 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He just called it out now over the radio that he's coming down pit road this time. So a smart move by that 74 to take advantage of seeing that the 0-2 was coming down. He's going to head to pit road this time. 30 laps to go when he crosses the start-finish line. And we'll see probably the rest of these leaders start to head down as well. The 88 onto pit road. The 32 deciding to stay out one more time. Seth the Merchant, he'll take over to race lead, get a lap lead, get a bonus point, which could prove to be all that important here. Later on in this one. Ray Alfalla did come down to pit road. He's back out on the racetrack, so he decided a short pit call here to try to get himself some more speed and possibly some track position. Look at him close the gap now in the back straightaway into turn number 3, and he's right there with that 0-2 of Michael Luza. That could have been the call for Ray Alfalla to get him the win.
And look at that, Ray Alfalla finally getting a pit stop without a caution flag. But look at him now, he's right on the 0-2. They are on the same lap again. This is now a position. What a call by the 2 car. He gains so much time by pitting early.
Yeah, and not only is Ray Alfalla there again by short pitting both of them, but remember that we just saw the 0-2 get past before the pit stops? Taylor Hurst is going to be at least 4 seconds behind now after that exchange, and the battle for the first position 1 lap down is the battle really for the race win. So Trey Edson in the spot to try to take this one, running in 6th at the moment. He put it back at lap 167, and a close call there. 62 of John Wilco. About dropped the transmission on the racetrack after trying to make sure that they didn't get into each other. Edson sliced to the outside to make sure he could get the arc down to turn number 3, and he'll be able to do it. He only 0.4 of a second, though, in front of, the 0-2 Aluza. Left side damage after Rittenauer slides up off the apron. Did that hurt the 0-2?
I'm not sure if it did hurt him or not. I don't even know if they made contact, but it was awfully close right there. I don't know what happened with the 87 to Ray Rittenauer there. Just not sure. Maybe looking down at something, maybe his gauges or something as he was coming off of pit road. But right there, that was a close call as he came up the racetrack and after being on pit road. So a good heads-up call or a play there by the 0-2 of Ryan Luza to avoid that one there at all costs. But I don't think it's hurt his speed at all as he's starting to close that gap on the 1.
Yes, and we talked about earlier if short pitting was the right call. We look at the 0-2 of Ryan Michael Luza and the 32 of Seth the Merchant. Before the green flag pit stops, they were about 2 seconds apart, and now they're up to last lap there. They were 7 seconds apart. That's a big difference now.
The interval is going to begin to become evident once everybody comes down pit road. We await the pit stop for the number 52 Ford of Matthew Chafe. Alex Bergeron Also, still to come down pit road, and I believe John Gorlinski's number 21 Chevrolet also he pitted at lap 166, so Gorlinski had a good spot. He even runs in front of Edson, who's in front of Luza, in front of Alfalla, in front of Taylor Hurst. So your race leader and all of that, it's not gonna matter. Caution with 24 laps to go, and we get to do the dance all over again.
Yeah, it looks like the 70 of Landon Harrison, the one that caused that caution. He was running about that top 10 area. We had talked about him already having damage on that machine, but doing a great job to hang around that top 10 area most of the night. But right there through 3 and 4, just unable to hang on to it. And that 70 machine going to go down a lap now. And wow, this changes everything. Talk about getting the benefit there, the 52 of Matthew Chafe and Alex Bergeron, who did not come down pit road yet. And those two drivers going to be able to stay out ahead of these guys, and I'm sure the guys behind them, Trey Edson, Gorlinski, Luza, and Alfalla, those guys will be heading down pit road once again. Still just 14 cars on the lead lap. I expect everybody down pit road to get 4 tires of fuel.
Yes, and this is going to set us up now for a very exciting finish, as now these cars are going to have fresh tires and full fuel tanks, and I think they'll be able to go right to the end with this. Here they come down pit road. The 12 and the 21 nose to tail. The 21 is not giving him any space, wanting as much of a chance as possible to beat him off pit road. Because these guys know this race off pit road maybe set you up for the race win.
This could be the decision maker for the race win, because everybody just on a pit road, and those who were on a little bit sooner than the others, does somebody try 2 tires? We will see. Right side's going to go up for Luza, for Alfalla. A 2-tire call for the O2, and he's going to pull out first off of pit road. Ryan Luza going to take 2 tires 4 wide with the drivers on 4 tires, and somehow Trey Edson gets the upper hand and all of that. Ray Alfalla going to be outside the top 5. Matthew Chafe going to be outside the top 5. And Taylor Hurst, who looked like he made that move before the pit stops and had this one locked up, he's going to be outside the top 7, I believe.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting call here by the O2 to take 2 tires on that one, and a couple other guys staying out just ahead of them. The 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. still on the racetrack, so it's going to be interesting to see. Does that 88 come down? Did he pit long enough into that he can stay out here, or are these guys going to swallow him up once this thing goes back to green as some of the lap cars come down this time? And yep, it looks like the 88 going to stay out on the track and give it a gamble here.
Yes, this definitely sets everything up. The 0-2 was great on that stop. I think he might have been the only one to take 2 tires. We'll have to see if that call is going to help him or hurt him, because it seemed like all the guys behind them may have taken 4 tires. I wasn't really paying too close attention to that, but we're going to have to keep an eye on Mark Jorgensen Jr. No tires at this point. He may stay out and may just get run right over by these guys behind them on the fresh Goodyear Eagles.
Yeah, I thought that we were going to see something out of Matthew Chafe. 23rd in qualified. He's 9th right now. He was leading these guys again. He stayed out, took 4 tires. He could easily, I think, be running in 3rd if they were able to execute down on the pit lane. But other than that, not going to happen. He'll be back to the inside of row number 5. So here's how they shake out. The 80 of Jorgensen going to bring us to the green flag on no tires. Ryan Luza going to be to the outside of the front row on 2. Everybody else on 4 will be Trey Edson 3rd, John Gorlinski 4th, Justin Fuller was P5. He's back down pit side, so P5 going to go to Alex Bergeron, P6 to Seth the Merchant, 7th for Ray Alfalla, and Matthew Chafe going to be 8th. Taylor Hurst, though, P9, man. He took the race lead. Remember, he was leading about 10 laps ago. Looked like this race was his, and he's back on row number 5.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do here in the closing 20 laps or so when we get this thing back to green flag racing. It's all about how long he stayed out on that run there. When those other guys came down, he stayed out much longer. When he came back out, he had lost all that time, and that's what killed him. Coming down pit road, he was so far behind to begin with, he wasn't going to make up any spots as well. So that's 2 cars we're going to have to keep an eye on, the 74 and the 2, how quickly they can make their way back up through the field now that they can see the leader.
20 laps to go is what is going to happen. We're going to have left when the field comes down to take the green flag. There's still so many cars that could take this race win. we've been talking about all night, the 2, the 74, the 02, but even look in there now, the 21, the 1, the 32, the 12, all up there in the front. We'll have to see what they can do on this next restart.
They doubled them up, but the question is this next restart going to be the final restart? We're going to find out. 180 laps down, just 20 left to go. The pace car going to go down and in, the 88 Chevrolet of Mark Jorgensen Jr. Green flag, but he can't get going outside the place to be. Luza going to go to the point. He'll bring Gorlinski topside with him.
Yeah, the no tires right there really hurting that 88 on the restart. He's going to be able to maintain second spot right now, side by side with that 21 machine. But you got to remember, Gorlinski has the 4 fresh tires. He's going to have the advantage once they get separated just a bit here. A good battle back by that 88, but the top side will prevail for the top 2 as they exit turn number 4. And looking for chasing that 02 now for the race lead as they cross the start-finish line. 19 to go here in Charlotte.
What a great jump by the 02 on that start, and the 21 now is now going to, looks like he just gets clear of the 88 as the 2 of Ray Alfalla side by side with Seth the Merchant down the back straightaway. Another 1 car looking to the inside of the 88. Did the 88 make the wrong call by staying out on these tires?
Well, there's not many tires left on that car. No doubt he's going the wrong direction, and it's not going to help with still 18 laps to go. But a battle for the race lead, still one hot and heavy up at the front of the field. It's Luza, it's Gorlinski, and it's Edson. And now Ray Alfalla to the number 4 position. Do they have enough green flag laps left in them for the next 17 to let these guys race out?
That's what we will see if they can be able to catch them right now. The 88 trying to hold serve right now right in front of the 32. A little bit of a slip up behind with the 52 of Matthew Chafe, who had been leading when they came into the pit stop. Side by side, though, continuing to go on between the 88 and 32. That is the battle for that 5th spot here currently on the racetrack. Right in front of them, though, Ray Alfalla looking for that 3rd spot off of turn 2.
Ray Alfalla just knows. We have 3 wide now back in the field with Seth the Merchant, the 74 and the 12. Seth the Merchant's going to lose out, though. The 74 of Taylor Hurst. Trouble now as the 83 of Adam Benefield goes sliding through the grass. No yellow. These cars keep it in it.
And it's going to be tricky. It'll spin to turn 1. Up on a racetrack he goes. Caution at lap 185. So close, yet so far. As a contact in turn number 4, and from the tower, a black flag has been issued to the 02 of Ryan Luza for what we believe is jumping the start at a side-by-side fight with the number 80 Mark Jorgensen Jr. Tough to tell. We'll try to get a replay up of it. Again, you got to look at the restart box in relation to where these guys are allowed to be and where essentially the actual control car on the inside, who had old tires, and could have been a little bit of tire spin, could a little bit of both, but the 02 no doubt beat the 88 to the line. And from the tower, the verdict coming down that is a jumped restart by the 02 of Ryan Luza, and that call basically takes this win away from him. He's not going to win it from 16th position if he comes down, and the black flag has now been lifted. So a discussion going to continue to go between them and a couple cars down pit road. Luza's in, Edson is in, Gorlinski and Alfalla stay out. Here's a second look at the replay as the team discusses that call with the officials. And nonetheless, though, they're in for service, and that changes the running order once again.
That absolutely does. I'll tell you what, looking at that was awfully close. That's definitely a judgment call by the officials, and you can't... I'm sure it was a hard one. It took them a couple laps to actually get that penalty out there. So instead, 02, he definitely jumped the start, but it was close. And it's hard to tell just because that 88 having the older tires there, you don't know if he spun the tires or not. It's definitely a judgment call, but I think honestly, I think they made the correct call on that one there. It was awfully close, but he'll go back to the back of the pack, and he's only going to have about 10 laps to get through as many as he possibly can.
We look now, second place, number 2, Ray Alfalla. Twice now, he's come from the back to get right up into the front. I don't know if there's a human being behind that wheel. Like, this is absolutely just insane what he's done tonight.
So by the video that we saw, it looked like that a jump or a little bit of an anxious go, an early start there, whatever you want to call it, was committed on behalf of the O2 Chevrolet. Black flag was issued from the tower. Black flag was then removed, but the O2 nonetheless was already coming down pit road regardless. If it was going to be a stop and go penalty, not sure what parameters the black flag was put under, but there is no active black flag pending on the O2 of Luza, but he's back in 15th position at the moment, so nonetheless, the damage has been done for him, and he's way back there. An interesting call for those that came down to get service, though, when we're talking about people that aren't named Ryan Luza, because, Andy, I don't see why you'd pit with 12 to go. We know tires are important, but with 16 cars in the lead lap track position, I think no doubt outweighs any of that.
No, it definitely does. I mean, what that does is gives the 74 another shot at this. It gives the 88 to Mark Jorgensen Jr. a shot. It gives a couple of the guys another shot at this for those guys to come down pit road. Obviously, Adam Benefield was going to come down anyway because of the damage he sustained with that caution, but he'll stay on the lead lap, it looks like. But yeah, a couple of these guys having to come down. You know, it looked like the 32 was struggling just a bit, so for him to come down, I'm not surprised on that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Track position is key. That's why the 21, the 288, the 74, that's why all those guys stayed out. They knew that. Laps are winding down. There's not much time at all for these guys to get up there.
Yeah, we'll have to see now. They're not going to have very many laps to go as they come down to the green flag. We're just going to have 11 to go as they start to line up side by side to get ready for the next restart.
They go side by side, and as the last one came with 20 laps to go, this one going to come with 11 laps to go. Window of opportunity still open to have one additional restart on the night because no overtime. So a caution inside of the final 5 laps tonight, not going to give us enough time to run through caution flag procedure and to go back at it. So in the next 6 laps, if we see another yellow, still the window is open to have at least one more green flag restart on the evening. John Gorlinski inside, Ray Alfalla outside on the front row. Mark Jorgensen, Taylor Hurst, row number 2. Justin Fuller, Landon Harrison, row 4. Trey Edson, Tyler Dalton, Seth DeMerchant, and Chuck Sweeting through 7th and 10th position. The pace car going to get down, get out of the way, and now we know, watch it, inside of our American Ethanol Go Zone for the final time. It could be green flag and a flying underway from Charlotte. 11 laps remaining. Dead heat at the line.
Oh, we got some contact trouble. They start wrecking.
And that will, well, line them up again and do it all over again. They stack them up back in a pack. It was a really tight restart. And the 32 is Seth DeMerchant, kind of made a 50-50 decision, and he wanted to go to the inside, I think, of Edson, and then decided that checking out was going to be a better option, and that indecision kind of causes him to get sideways, gets hit in the back end by the 12, the 26, and at least 3-4 other cars involved. A quick yellow at 10 laps to go.
Yeah, it definitely was. Like you said, a little maybe indecision to get it done there on the on that restart there. Not sure which lane to pick or whatever the call was, but yeah, definitely a tough break right there. 32 had such a great run going to begin with all night long. Had been up there in the front, and unfortunately will come out of this one with some heavy damage late in the going.
And while that yellow flag came out quick, we did have a couple position changes. Look on your screen right now. There's the 2 car of Ray Alfalla. He is now your race leader as he was able to just edge out the inside and take the race lead before that yellow came out.
And now the question is, do they want to come back down pit road? Pit road open, no takers up at the front of the field, but Ray Alfalla finds himself in front, which is, I think, the single most important thing, is that number 2 might finally be able to break the streak of the bridesmaid runner-up finishes that he's had for the last 5 weeks consecutively. He hasn't finished outside of the top 2 since the opening half of the first segment on this 2016 calendar. It was a P1 or a P2 for the entire second half of the first segment, and in the opening half of segment number 2, he's looking to continue that streak, but also break the streak of running behind it in the number 2 spot. So the lights are on the pace car with 8 laps to go, and that means that only one more shot at it.
Only one more shot to get the job done for these guys. A yellow, obviously, after the 5 will end this race, and we'll have to do it under the caution flag. But John Gorlinski, he's got some work to do on this one here, and he's hoping to get that done before the end of this one, and he's got some work to do. He's got some laps to get it done, though, in the 74 as well. Taylor Hurst looking for some more.
Yeah, and when you get these cautions late in the race, I mean, you get everyone bunched up, and everyone sees this opportunity to jump ahead of the driver beside them and maybe gain a couple positions easily right before the end of the race. But then as everyone's pushing hard to get these positions, you have a higher level of risk, which can bring out more cautions, as we saw with this last one. So, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see yet another caution come out after this one and maybe end this race under yellow.
The lights are still on, and this gives a lot of time. Not as much time as if they were running at Pocono under the caution flag, but a lot of time, nonetheless, at this slow to pace, Andy, to think. And sometimes overthinking is the worst thing that you can do. We have seen plenty of spectacular moves by Ray Alfalla tonight. Most of them off of the off the cusp of his hands, or whatever you want to say, because picking up 5-6 spots on a lap, you don't have time to think about that. You see an opening, you go for it. These guys are playing over several different situations on how this can come down to. You don't want to almost psych yourself out of it.
No, you don't. But under this caution flag like that gives you that opportunity where you're thinking about it. What should I do if this guy goes this way? What should I do if I go that? And then you tend to overthink it. You tend to second guess yourself once the green flag comes. So, yeah, definitely when you see guys like Ray Alfalla coming through the traffic with the, during the green flag conditions and at speed, there was no thinking involved. Saw the opening, you go, just like you mentioned. Now, under the caution, these guys have to think a little bit more about it, but we'll see what will happen here on this one, and if we cannot do that. Let's give a shout-out to that 23 before we get rolling green here. J.D. Laird battling all night long, 4 laps down at one point. He's on the lead lap here, 14th with on this final restart.
The lights on the pace car have gone out, and the cars have started to stack up double file as we get ready to go green next time by for what most likely will be the last time in the night. So we'll have to see how hard these drivers are going to push to get those positions right off the bat and see where they can finish.
6 laps to go. When we come around to take lap number 195, you get 1 lap in the books, and we get to that 5 lap to go threshold where a caution would end it. So you cannot afford to sit around and wait. It's go time. The pace car going to make the sharp left-hand turn down for just one final time. To the start-finish line they come. Green flag underway. 6 laps remaining.
Great start on the outside by that 21 of John Gorlinski. He's going to try it on the outside lane to get that momentum, to get himself that position here for the lead. Alfalla, though, too strong on the bottom. Might have him clear off of turn number 2. Some contact between the 74 and 21. The 21 hard into the wall up front. And we got big problems.
Oh, no. That's definitely not the way you want to see it end.
Up and over on the lid for Adam Benefiel. Big junk in turns 3 and 4. And Ray Alfalla in front of it all after some contact between the 74 and the 21. Tough to really kind of put a finger on what happened there. Going at each other, obviously the 74 up the bottom, pushes up, gets into Gorlinski, and then the 21 kind of comes back down. The 74 kind of comes back up. I think they were trying to both shut the door on each other, and they almost hung on to it, ran out of room, and because we picked up the pace car right there with 5 to go, we may just have a one-lap shootout upon us.
That's going to be fun to watch here. Maybe we get a one-lap shootout, maybe we don't. But it's all going to be said when that lights go out on that pace car for that final time. And hopefully, just hopefully, cross your fingers, we can get this thing with one more lap. It's going to be an awfully exciting one, especially the way these guys just had that last restart.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, it's late in the race. Everyone's pushing hard. They're all bunched up together, and one small move, and people start. One person might check up. Someone else might not want to check up. And you'll check the replay and see what the one car saw as he made it through that wreck.
Going to be an interesting perspective for Trey Edson, who right now lined up for a P5 result tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. If we do go back green, he would go to the inside of row number 3 for that final restart. We'll have to try to listen in and see from the driver radio if we can kind of get a finger on if we're going to go green once again or not, because we said 5 to go is the threshold. Caution came out with 5 1/4 laps left to go. If they were down in turn 1 and had to come back around to catch the pace car, I think we can pretty much safely say it was done. But the pace car hopped right out in front of them, so I think we may just have a 1.5 mile shootout to the end of this one. And if that is the case, you're talking about guys that are going to be coming to the checkered flag, not up to speed yet. They'll probably be full throttle that entire lap.
Oh, you're absolutely right. That's what's going to make it even that much more fun to watch here on this one lap to get it done. And, that 2 was very strong on that bottom side. It might be his opportunity to take this thing out of here just because of how strong he was on the bottom. But I definitely won't count out anybody that's on that high side. This time it'll be that 74 of Taylor Hurst. And we've known or seen the speed out of him all night long. This will be a fun one here at the end for sure.
Yeah, if the lights are going to go out, hopefully this next time by, we'll see if we can get one more lap in. And if we do, it's going to be an all-out war. We can't count out anyone else yet. I mean, we still have the top 3, but you still have some cars sitting back there. It's the 70, the 1. Even look at the 89, the car that looks like it belongs in the junkyard. It's so banged up, but he's still sitting there in 6th position. He may have a chance at this if we go back to green.
We're going to find out this time what the verdict is. We're going to take 2 laps to go. And if the lights do not go out on top of the pace car when we take lap 199, we can't go green in time to take lap number 200. So we take a look at the pace car and find out the fate of Ray Alfalla at the front of the field. Is he going to have to hold him off one more time? The pace car lights are out. And we will have a 1-lap shootout for the Charlotte 300 checkered flag. You thought they were going at each other. In the previous 199 laps, you ain't seen nothing yet.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, to run a 300-mile race, Evan, and to have it come down to the last mile and a half, I mean, this is just absolutely fantastic. And hopefully it lives up to everything that it should. This is going to be a great finish to this race here tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure Ray Alfalla isn't happy to see those lights go out, but I'm very happy to see those lights go out. I cannot wait to see what these drivers have in store for us for this last mile and a half.
Orlinski gave him hell on the outside of the racetrack on that restart. So Taylor Hurst, if he can stay in the gas, but most importantly, get a good restart without jumping. We saw somebody be penalized for jumping. That's in his head. That might cause him to be a little bit too conservative to get the jump that he needs. We're going to find out. We know this time the pace car's done for the night. He pulls in. We're going to take just 1 lap left to go from Charlotte. Green flag waves 1.5 miles to decide this one, and already 3 wide for P2 as Edson tries the middle.
He tries the middle. Look at this 26 now. Go to the bottom. That's Chuck Sweeting. Haven't talked much about him. He's going to find his way to the 4th spot here off of turn number 2. Ray Alfalla, though, 3 car lengths out in front, side by side for second for the final time in turn 3.
First to the outside, to the inside, John Gorlinski, and they're both going to end up in a lot of contact. They're 4 wide for P2. None of that matters, though. Ray Alfalla snaps.
Oh, they wreck across the line in the back there.
Charlotte and wreck it across the start-finish line for 3rd on back. Sweeting comes home P2. Edson, Harrison, and Hurst, your top 5.
Wow. That's
what
all I gotta say about
finish.
that one.
I am so glad the lights on that car went out. What? I don't think anyone could have called the finishing order there. That was absolutely insane. 4 wide coming off of turn number 4.
The 74, the 1, the 21, the 26, all of that after some contact. And you'll get a second look at it. They wrecked across the start-finish line after Orlinski's car got sideways, sliced it up the bottom of the racetrack. What a spectacular finish. The top 8 drivers finish within 1 second of your leader. Those are super speedway numbers. But for Ray Alfalla, 5 consecutive runner-up finishes, finally breaks through, although it is his 8th consecutive top 2 finish. He does kind of break the streak, if you will, and picks up his 6th win on the season and gets going right where he started in segment 1 with the segment opener win. He wins the season 2 opener, if you will. The second segment is underway just as the first one did, as the Alfalla Tech Ford burns it down on a front straightaway here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. A winner tonight in the Charlotte 300. They'll get that car down to the ASCORS victory lane, and we'll get some post-race reaction from your top drivers involved in this one with the LSRTV post-race show coming up next on iRacing Live. You're watching LSRTV's continuing coverage of the ASCORS ProGeek Consulting Cup Series. More action still to come from Concord, North Carolina. On the other side, Ray Alfalla, your winner tonight.
For iRacing to get Le Mans is huge. I mean, this is a unique event, a unique track where, half of the track is public road, so you can never test on it, you never get experience on it, and it's 8 miles in length, 4-minute lap time in a GT car. So, even if you're here for an hour of testing, that's only 15 laps, and you're only going to see the corner 15 times that day. The first section going through the Dunlop area is pretty unique. It's got elevation change and off camber. Then you go down Mulsanne into the chicanes, and the straights are unbelievably long. It's a tricky track, and every year I've come here, being my 4th year, you learn something new every time.
We've wanted to add Le Mans to iRacing for a long time, and we've really been working hard towards it for the last 5 years. But really, things only came together in the last week leading up to this race, so it was a real scramble to put everything together. The majority of Le Mans is public roads. So when they're preparing for the 24-hour race, it's really the only time that we can visit to laser scan and photograph the track so that we can recreate it in iRacing. We work closely with the ACO to get essentially exclusive access to the facility and everything that we needed to get the laser scanning and photographic reference that we need to create the track. We were very fortunate to be at Le Mans at the most important time of the year and gain that experience of being there. And we're going to really do the best we can to put that into our work and making sure that the Le Mans in iRacing is the best Le Mans, the most exciting and accurate recreation of the track possible.
We're back live at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the LSRTV post-race show. As the Charlotte 300 draws to a close, let's take a look at your LSRTV full race results. Ray Alfalla, your winner tonight. We'll talk with him in a moment. Chuck Sweeting second and Trey Edson third. They're all coming up next in the LSRTV post-race show. Landon Harrison with a P4 result. Taylor Hurst coming home in fifth. Sixth position, John Gorlinski as seventh for J.D. Laird. Matthew Chafe at eighth. Ninth for Seth DeMerchant. And final driver on the lead lap, Matt Quick, coming home in 10th.
Coming home in your 11th finishing position on the night. That is one lap down. That is John Wilco. Tyler Dalton will finish 12th. 13th goes to Ryan Luza. Mark Jorgensen Jr. will come home in the 14th spot. 15th goes to the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke. Ray Rittenauer will finish 16th. 17th to Justin Footler. Adam Benefield will finish 18th. 19th is the 12 of Alex Bergeron. And Paul Fugate will round out 20th.
And after this point, we have cars that didn't really finish the race. Stephen Herring will bring it home in 21st, Chad Coleman 22nd, Justin Weaver 23rd, Doy Woods 24th, Adam Gilliland 25th, Matthew Moose 26th, Josh Ball 27th, Bentley Glazer will be 28th, Austin M. Jones 29th, and Mitchell Hunt will finish 30th.
Let's look at your LSRTV full field rundown for the Charlotte 300. Tonight's presentation brought to you, as always, by ProGeek Consulting since 1998. ProGeek Consulting has been providing IT solutions to small to mid-sized businesses in the Minneapolis-St. Paul metropolitan area. Their strong work ethic and attention to detail allows them to provide the best solution for your needs. We specialize in a wide range of solutions, including infrastructure, networking, server storage, virtualization, security, virtual CIO, and IT strategy. Third place tonight for the one of Trey Edson, and trackside with him is Kelly Dahl.
Yeah, I'm down here with our third place finisher, Trey Edson. Trey, you started fifth on that last restart, but you went right after him going 3 wide. Did you really have a plan there, or was that just all made up on the fly?
John told me he thought he had some engine damage, so I didn't think he was going to go. And he didn't go, and he pulled over, and I thought maybe I would be clear of him to turn one, but I think he had more engine power than he expected, and then Chuck came out of nowhere on tires. That was crazy, and just kind of, I don't know, it was a big mess down the back stretch into 3 and 4, and we come off turn 4 wide. I didn't think I was going to see the start-finish line, but I really didn't have a plan, because you never know. When the green drops, you don't know who's going to get going, who's going to not go, so you just kind of react on the fly there.
Yes, it was quite the finish. 4 wide coming off of turn number 4, inches between you guys. You said you didn't think you were going to make it to the end. Very lucky to even get through that. But you really fought up front all day long, all night long. Did you feel you had a good car?
It didn't drive very good, but everybody's on the same thing, so you just kind of manage it. I wasn't quite as quick as Ray and Taylor and Ryan, but yeah, top 5. I felt like we were in the top 5 all night long, so obviously we deserve to be up there. Tried some different tire strategies at different points of the night, and the caution kept falling, but luckily with the tire drop-off, we were able to unlap ourselves a few times. I think we got the lucky dog early on. I made a bad decision earlier staying out on old tires. I didn't know it was going to be as bad as it was. Yeah, like 4 wide coming to the line. I definitely, like you said, I said earlier, I thought I was going to end up in stands or something. I thought we were going to end up with a 20th place finish.
Well, thankfully you didn't. You fought really well, kept the car going on straight, and brought it home in 3rd place for a great finish on the night to start off your segment 2. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank for this finish tonight?
Just got to thank ASCORS and LSR. You guys do a great job every week. When I logged into the server, I clicked the wrong manufacturer, so I didn't get to run my weekly Jamie McMurray scheme. So I have to start that again not next week, the following week, wherever we go. I think it's Pocono maybe. So thank everybody at Aftermath Motorsports. Got a big night coming up Tuesday. Got the PK Free Series race. So everyone watching this, be sure to tune in then also.
As everyone watched that, we have a couple of our own guys will be commentating on that. Well, congratulations on the finish tonight. Great drive. We'll hope to see you up here again next time by.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Send it over to Andy now. I believe he's down there with our second place finisher with Chuck Sweeting. Andy?
Yeah, I'm down here on pit road, and talk about a driver who came out of nowhere there on that final restart there. Chuck Sweeting, congratulations, second place finish. Really came through there in that final one-lap shootout there. You decided to make it 4 wide. It stuck there on the bottom for you.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thanks, Andy. Yeah, I got to say that was a pretty interesting race, especially the last 10, 15 laps there. But just want to thank Malone and McBroom for the sponsorship and everyone at No Excuses Racing. I had a blast tonight.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a lot of fun. We didn't talk much about you. Kind of slowly working your way up through the field there. Qualified probably not as fast as you wanted to in the 25th position, but slowly just kind of picked them off one by one there and found yourself with this long race, 200 laps, 300 miles. You definitely had a long time, to get up to the front. It wasn't a sense of urgency early on. And talk about that through the whole course of the race, just trying to figure out the pit strategy and with the long green flag runs, tire strategy management.
Yeah, you just had to be patient. And I tried a couple of runs just running the high line, try to save tires, and it didn't seem to make a whole lot of difference. So toward the end there, I was just going to run on the bottom as hard as I could, and then we had a restart, and I don't really know what happened in that restart. I got turned around, and so I got it fixed, and I kind of figured I'd be lucky to get a top 10, and then that last lap there was just, I don't know, the seas parted and took it to second.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Obviously, your first race of the season with the ASCORS, you come in segment number 2. You missed all the excitement in the first segment, but you come here in the first race of segment 2, and you find yourself sandwiched between a couple of peak antifreeze drivers. Talk about how it is to run with such a diverse field here at ASCORS.
Yeah, there's a lot of really, really good drivers in this series, and I got to thank Brian and ProGeek for putting this on. I hope to learn from it. Maybe if I can learn from it and get a little bit better, maybe I can go for pro later on this year. But it's a blast, and it's fun to race around those guys.
That definitely is. You gave it your all here tonight. One spot too short for that race win, but we get 1 week off. We come back at Pocono. Size up that place for yourself in that 26 machine.
That track is a blast. I love racing at that track. Hopefully I'll be able to survive like I did tonight and bring home a nice finish. That'd be real good. I'd like to be consistent this season and earn the respect of the other drivers since I'm new here. So hopefully I did that a little bit tonight, and we can continue on at Pocono.
Well, I'll tell you what, they definitely won't be saying Chuck Sweeting who with a second place finish here tonight. Chuck, we'll give you a chance. I know you mentioned them earlier, but sponsors, shout-outs, who helps you get it done each and every week?
Yeah, all the guys, Hammer over at No Excuses and Benny, Brian, all of them are a big help, and all our sponsors. We've got a whole list of them, and they're great to us. But Malone and McBroom on the car tonight, and we'll see who's on the car next time at Pocono.
All right, well, we wish you the best of luck until that next time, but congratulations again, Chuck, on your second place tonight.
Thank you.
There you have it, second place finisher Chuck Sweeting, kind of out of nowhere, but he gets the job done, comes home second, but there's a guy that's been lacking a victory here over the last couple of weeks, and Evan has caught up with our winner in victory lane.
His definition of a drought is very different from those of others, but 5 consecutive weeks where he had to come home in the second spot, and tonight almost looked like it was going to be another one of those nights. We're caught up in victory lane with tonight's winner, Alfalla. Ray up front, not once, but twice. The caution flag bit you guys and sent you deep in the pack, but not even that could hold you guys off. One final restart, you were able to lock it up, walk us through an incredible 300-miler.
Thanks, Evan. Yeah, it was a very up and down, weird race. Kind of, started off with a few yellows there, and then people kind of got on a rhythm, and we were leading, and then decided to pit, and the caution came out right as I was entering pit road, and I could have cut right through the grass, but I decided to just enter pit road, and it was still pretty early in the race. And then it happened again. Once it happened again, it was we definitely had to rely on yellows to have a shot at winning. We were probably going to finish maybe top 5 if that yellow hadn't come out there with 30 to go. But yeah, and then just got the lead late on. One of those frantic restarts, was just barely ahead of Gorlinski entering turn 1, and the yellow came out, so we got the lead. So that was, pretty weird race.
It was an exciting one for us, nonetheless, with all the a couple of the cautions early. Saw a lot of junk, but I think it kind of cleared up some racing room for you guys. There were a couple of times, though, on your charges up to the pack, getting up to guys like the 0-2, the 1, you were just going at it. Gorlinski was at a couple of those battles. I mean, 5, 6, 7, 8 laps, side by side, crossing each other over. A lot of grip out there, it looked like, at least in those battles, because you guys were having a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of grip. The track at night has incredible amount of grip, and unfortunately the setup was really tight. So essentially, if you could be out front, it was not quite as tight, I guess. But it was kind of nice that the Highline worked pretty well, and we were able to make moves and stuff. So it was the racing was fun, but I was enjoying. Driving the car, but yeah, I definitely didn't think I'd be in victory lane for this one after the yellows came out on pit road, but I guess anything can happen at the end of these races.
A one-lap shootout looked like it was going to be everybody else's opportunity to try to make their mark on the end, but they were 4 wide behind you coming off of that final corner. You finish in front of them. Another week where the Sunday night race kind of lines up with what you guys are going to be doing on Tuesday night. But the question I want to ask you is, we come into the second segment now. You won the first race of segment 1, and you blew everybody out of the water for the segment 1 championship. Segment 2, though, going to be a little bit different for you guys. We're hearing, what's the plan for these next 13 races?
Well, I think I'm gonna miss at least one race, maybe 2. So I don't know. I think it's New Hampshire, the one I'm definitely missing. But yeah, pretty much just going up. Got the car number back to what I usually run. So that's kind of cool. Although the 27 was a throwback to what I ran here back when ASCORS first started 10 years ago. But yeah, just show up and have a lot of fun. We have a few new guys in the league. Ryan Luzo was really fast tonight, and I expect him to be a contender. Taylor Hurst was also really, really fast. And then everybody else. I think Matt Busa got wrecked out early, and Gorlinski's usually fast. So, and I think Tyler Hudson's also, on the roster, so he'll probably be making a few starts. So it'll be fun.
The sponsors, the shout-outs to good folks on board. The number 2 Ford Fusion Array, as always. Who makes it happen for you?
At AlfallaTech.com if you're looking for a gaming computer. Visit us there. Wendell Scott Foundation, STEM SMEX, and Snowcone Productions. Again, thanks everybody at ASCORS, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks at, I think it's Pocono.
We look forward to seeing you there, Ray. Thanks for sticking around and chatting. Congratulations, and best of luck on Tuesday.
Thank you.
That's your winner tonight, 2-time, now a 6-time winner in the ASCORS ProGeek Consulted Cup Series. Ray Alfalla breaks the streak. He's got to win, and it's also his 7th consecutive top 2 finish. Kelly, for all that we talked about, though, into tonight, we talked about all the new faces, all the new talent, and we saw a lot of those guys go at it. Nothing can stop Ray Alfalla from being fast.
No, he definitely had to work for this win, and he really earned that victory. Coming from the back of the pack, not once, but twice, weaving his way through. And it wasn't just like he drove away with it. A couple of these guys did give him some great runs, but in the end, he just drove away on that last lap.
2 weeks' time going to be the next time we're back out, because Sunday is essentially a holiday with all the racing action going on next week. So we'll be back on it on the 5th, coming up for the Pocono 200. We were just at Pocono last night right here on LSRTV. Andy, that always a tricky track, and exciting to see what some of the best the sim can do there.
Yeah, we talked about it last night being one of those places to keep the momentum up. You got to keep it up in the trucks. Well, you have to do the same in the Cup car as well. You got to be smooth each and every corner. They're all different. Passing is going to be a challenge as well. So I think clean air is going to be a big factor in that race next week. So I think the qualifying effort for these guys next week is going to be very important, and we'll have to see who those guys are that can put down that fast lap.
And we hope that you join us that Sunday night. We hope that you join us on Saturday nights for LSRTV night on iRacing Live for the USR Truck Series. And every night you can find more information on our website at livesimracing.com. You could also give us a like on Facebook. That's going to be facebook.com/live@simracingtv for more information. Until next time, on behalf of everybody behind the scenes at LSRTV LLC and for the broadcast crew tonight, for myself, Evan Posoko, for Andy Kessler, Kelly Dahl, and producer Cisco Scaramuza, I want to congratulate Ray Alfalla, a Segment 1 champion and now a 6-time winner. Your winner tonight for the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We bid you good night. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time from the Poconos right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Good night.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented under the authority of LSRTV LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations and may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form, nor the accounts and descriptions of this event disseminated in any way without the express written permission of Live Sim Racing TV. LSRTV would like to thank its loyal fans for their continued support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.